For those members of the public that have joined us by way of Zoom or teleconference, please select star 9 to virtually raise your hand if you would like to speak, or select the raise hand feature on your device. For those members of the public that have joined us by way of Zoom or teleconference, please dial star 9 on your phone or select raise hand from your device to let us know that you would like to provide a comment. Thank you.
All right, we're ready, Madam Clerk, whenever you are.
If you could give us just one quick moment while we start recording, Mayor.
Recording in progress.
Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let me go ahead and call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody to a special meeting of the Santa Ana City Council for June 22nd, 2021. Let me just begin by saying thank you to my colleagues, both who are present and on the line. We know that this is time away from them, but we wanted to be as transparent as possible and make this available to the public, have an open discussion, learn as much more information as we possibly can so we can make an informed decision. I also want to thank staff for helping prepare this, and also to those who will be speaking to this item as well. Thank you in advance for lending some time so our residents and the council become better informed. So let me just begin with some quick housekeeping. So this meeting is taking place with in-person attendance by teleconference via Zoom. The public can access the meeting via the Santa Ana YouTube channel or the city's website. As always, please bear with us. There may be some technical difficulties that may disrupt the flow of the meeting as we go through this, and I'll go ahead and call on our clerk of the council to call roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Becerra?
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez had an emergency, so he will not be present. Councilmember Lopez?
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Here.
Councilmember Fan?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peñalosa?
Happily present.
Mayor Sarmiento?
Here. So we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all please rise and join me by placing your right hand over your heart and repeating after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. And let me go ahead and just preface tonight by letting you know we're going to kind of change this up a little bit. Normally, during our regular council meetings, we have public comment that precedes staff presentation, but tonight we're going to do staff presentations first, and then invite the public to comment if there's anything that they'd like to address the city council with. So with that, we only have one item on tonight's special meeting calendar, and that is the solid waste contract, and this is going to be a study session for that. So I'm going to turn it over to the city manager and her staff to go ahead and make the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight, leading the workshop is our own Executive Director of Public Works, Neil Saba. His team and the consultants and your ad hoc committee and the proposers that are here tonight have been working on this for quite some time, and we're very excited to share the information with you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Executive Director Saba.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Tonight, we have for you a presentation and a work study session in regards to the solid waste request for proposal. Before I begin, I would like to thank you and all members of the City Council on your continued support, and all of the members of the Ad Hoc Committee, Mayor Pro Tem Penaloza, Council Members Fan and Mendoza, on their continued support. I would like to also acknowledge our solid waste consultant, HF&H, and our Public Works staff, Christy Kendick, Margaret Mercer, and Yasmin Vasquez, for their hard work all throughout. As a result of the RFP, we received 4 solid proposals. All 4 are well qualified to serve the city. We will be making recommendations to you, but it will be up to you to select what is best for Santa Ana. With that, I would like to start my presentation with a timeline. Our timeline tonight is the work study session. From June 23rd to August 16, staff will welcome council members' questions, inquiries about the entire process and the agreements with all 4 haulers. So we welcome your participation and questions on all of these items that are of a concern to you. On July
Director
20
Sabah, if you can
Sorry.
speak a little closer to the mic, I think that way everybody in the audience is at. Can you guys hear okay?
On
If
July
not, just-
20th, 21, we will hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution of intent to grant solid waste franchise to any one of the 4 haulers or proposers. On August 17, 2021, we will hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to grant solid waste franchise and agreement to one of the 4 proposals and authorize staff to proceed with Proposition 218 process. On July 1, 2022, we're hoping that the services under new contract will begin. Our agenda for tonight is staff presentations, followed by proposers' presentations, public comments, and then council questions. Before I begin, I would like to just get the information out in terms of containers used in the solid waste industry. We use carts, and those range in size from 35, 64, and 96 gallons. What we call bins look like those steel bins with a black cover. They range in size from 1 to 6 cubic yards. We also have roll-off boxes of various sizes that look like this picture. The RFP, request for proposal, key services for residential, included the following: 3-cart automated residential collection service, senior and mobile home load generator discount, walkout service for disabled residents at no charge, holiday tree collections, on-call bulky item collections, on-call universal waste collection, residential used oil and oil filter collection program, temporary refuse bin service, Sharps mail-back collection program. Remember, this is for residential. For the multi-family and commercial and industrial users, we included bin collection service, cart collection service for businesses with no room for bins, source-separated recyclables and organics collection service, temporary bin service, permanent and temporary roll-off box service, on-call bulky item collection for multi-family. More to come on that. I know that this item is of a great concern to you, so there will be more information on the bulky items for multi-family coming up. We also asked for a multi-family bin customer holiday tree collection. For government operations, we requested a city facility refuse, recycling organics, and e-waste collection service, construction and demolition debris collection service from city government operations, refuse, recycling and organic collection service for city events, parkway cleanup following quarterly garage sales, weekly alley cleanup. The weekly alley cleanup, as of today, we have bi-weekly or twice a month. We have requested the increase in that service to be weekly. So, grant administration service and battery recycling program in city facilities. For the community, we asked for 300 roll-off boxes per year for neighborhood cleanups, annual household hazardous waste drop-off events, annual shredding event, annual compost giveaway event, environmental ambassador program, 1 full-time recycling coordinator, and funding of the Santa Ana Green Quarterly newsletter. The contract terms include the following. 10-year term begin July 1, 2022, with mutual option to extend the agreement to up to 5 years and additional option to extend for up to 36 months at the sole discretion of the city. We also included in the contract also a minimum recycling requirement, what we call minimum diversion rate. We also requested administrative, vehicle impact, NPDES, and franchise fees, triennial contract compliance audit and funding for same is in the terms. All carts shall be at the start of the service, shall be new, at the start of the service and in compliance with SB 1383. All route collection vehicles shall be model year 2021 and at the start of the agreement. We also requested education and outreach program implementation and also a faithful performance bond and letter of credit. The rates are allowed to be adjusted on an annual basis for residential, multifamily, and commercial service. There will be 3 factors that would affect the rates: the service component, the fuel component, and the Orange County landfill system component. All these are universal to all haulers, no change. So, and they are indexed by the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, and the PPI, which is the Producer Price Index. For the roll-off box service, same thing. Those rates can be adjusted based on service component, fuel component, and tonnage. Again, they are linked to the price, the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index. Other services are also can be adjusted on an average annual percentage change in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, all items less food and energy. That's the index for that. Like I mentioned, we received 4 solid proposals. And next session or next section, I will be talking about the rates coming up. So the proposed rates range from $17.55 to $23. Those are for the residential monthly rate. I want to add $17.55 ranging to $23.71. The data in front of you is ranked from low to high. Today's rate for such a service is $22.57. The service level in this situation with the residential is 1 refuse cart once per week, 1 recycling cart once per week, and 1 organic cart once per week. The projected residential rate for the first 5 years looks like this. The range, first year from $17.55 to $22.95, year 5, $20.35 to $26.89. And these are adjusted, like we mentioned earlier, by the Consumer Price Index. And in this case, we have also asked for clean city initiatives that have a factor in those increases. And we'll talk about that in a minute. This table assumes 2.5% CPI. The projected residential rates for the clean city initiatives, this is what city staff has asked for to enhance our service, to maintain a clean city, ranges from the increase in year 2 between 1% to 4.14% in year 2. In year 3, the range goes from 4.2% to 9.99%, and in year 4 for one of the haulers is 2.25%. All these data is really assorted alphabetically by the hauler's name. In all, the increases for the first 5 years look like this. Year 2, it could be between 0.46 to 3.5 or 3.5 to 4.6 in year 1. Year 5, we're looking at 2.5%, which is just the CPI assumed. The data is in alphabetical order by firm name. Leaving the residential rates alone, now we're going into the commercial card service. The service cost ranges from $85 per month to $250 per month. Equivalent service right now is $133.20. The level of service for that example is 1 refuse cart once per week, 1 organic cart once per week, and 1 recycling cart once per week. And that's just an example, by the way. There is a permutation and combination of these services that it is a menu that a commercial customer can select from. The 3 cubic yard temporary bin service cost ranges from $95 to $151.76. The data is ranked from low to high. Current customer rate is $97.50, which does not include disposal cost. So for us right now, it's $97.50, but there is a disposal cost attached to that service, and the numbers that you're seeing right now does not have the disposal cost attached to it or needed. For an example for commercial, I'm sorry. Am I ahead of myself? Okay, sorry about this. A multi-family residential service, that's the multi-family service right now, or the proposed cost ranges from $562.31 to $630.69. And again, the data is ranked from low to high. The equivalent service rate for fiscal year 2022 is $448.64. The level of service in this example is a 3-yard refuse bin twice per week, 3 yards recycling bin once per week, and 1 organic cart once per week. Another example for commercial bin service, the pricing range from $424.92 to $459.98. The data is ranked from low to high. Equivalent service is at $388.19. The level of service in this case is a 3-yard refuse bin once per week, 3-yard recycling bin once per week, and 2-yard organic bin once per week. The roll-off box rate comparison. It ranges from $496.62 to $667.88. The data is ranked from low to high based on the total amount. Existing customer rate today is $584.31. 3 cubic yard temporary bin, mixed C&D. C&D stands for construction and demolition material. The price ranges from $95 to $175. Again, the data is ranked from low to high. The existing customer rate for fiscal year 21-22 is $145.21. Okay. Mixed construction and demolition up to 8-ton service. The pricing ranges from $594.74 to $679.62. The existing customer rate at this time is $635.18. And again, the data is ranked from low to high, and this applies to any size roll-off box up to 8 tons. Mixed construction and demolition processing per ton over 8 tons. The pricing ranges from $63.50 to $104.73. Again, the data is ranked from low to high. Existing customer rate is $64.28. For construction and demolition service. Construction and demolition C&D service are included in the proposed exclusive solid waste agreement. Current C&D agreements expire on June 30, 2022, same time as the current solid waste agreement. The city does not believe there are continuation rights for the current C&D providers. Should continuation right exist, current C&D providers may provide concurrent service for up to 5 years as required by Public Resources Code, Section 49520. The billing. The city will continue to do its bi-monthly billing for the residential curbside service. The contractor, or the proposer in this case, will do the monthly billing for commercial, multifamily, and industrial cart, bin, roll-off box, temporary service, C&D services, and other charges. Next, I'm going to touch on the revenue to proposers. The first year rate revenue to proposer look like this. It ranges from $57 million to $59 million, and the data is ranked from low to high, and it assumes exclusive construction and demolition services in the agreement. The 10-year forecast ranges from $676 million to $702 million. This includes the proposed rate increase for years 2 and 4 and an estimated annual CPI increase of 2.5%, assuming exclusive construction and demolition service. Equipment specifications. All proposals are going to provide us with CNG vehicles, some compressed natural gas, some renewable natural gas, model year equipment, new carts, and bins, new bins except for one that will continue to use existing bins. Again, the listing is alphabetically arranged. Through the process, we did a reference check, and that is the data. The overall rating ranged from 4.1 to 2.9, 1 being unsatisfactory, 5 being exceptional. And the data is ranked from high to low. Proposal offered enhancement. Now, each of the 4 proposals elected to provide the city with their own enhancement. This is above and beyond what the city has asked. The listing here is alphabetical. Athens Services offered a 10 free bulky items pickup per quarter per dwelling unit for multi-family resident, and $48 per item for items exceeding 10 per quarter. Free illegal dumping pickup, education and outreach recycling program, procure compost on behalf of the city. Displaced employees will receive equal or higher wages. 6 environmental managers to oversee trash hauling, and all clean city initiatives will be performed in-house. CR&R Environmental Services offered the following: provide 3 full-time recycling coordinators, part-time internship for city Santa Ana students, lightweight RNG-powered collection vehicles with RFID residential card tags, provide 2 trucks and 2 crew dedicated to collection of illegally dumped items, 4 bulky item pickups per year per multi-family unit, up to 4 items per pickup, partner with a third party to support community organization, offer to provide street sweeping when a current contract expires. Qualified employee will be provided with offer letters of employment. Clean City Initiatives services will be in cooperation with Goodwill Industries. Republic Services offered the following: 3 full-time recycling coordinators, $200,000 per year to select community events, representatives to join Kiwanis, Santa Ana Chamber of Commerce, and OC Human Relations Commission, will provide donation of $10,000 per year to sponsor city events, work with Illumination Foundation to provide 150 new lockable carts, school tutoring support, collect illegally dumped items within 24 to 48 hours, procure compost and RNG to assist city in meeting compliance, 10 free bulky items pickup per quarter per dwelling unit for multi-family residents, work with city to prepare a viable plan for acquiring and integrating displaced qualified workers. Clean City Initiatives will be performed by Republic and subcontractor. 3-party diversion tracking through the Recyclist, and the piloting of an electric refuse vehicle pilot program. Waste Management offered the following: 2 full-time recycling coordinators, third-party diversion tracking through the use of the Recyclist, will collect illegally dumped items within 48 hours of notification, unlimited bulky items pickup to multi-family properties through on-call scheduling or designated collection days, and will utilize the same truck used for servicing illegal dumping, will procure renewable natural gas on behalf of the city, the use of RFID-equipped carts, will continue to use old bins, and Clean City Initiatives will be performed by a subcontractor. As you know, we have also had an ad hoc committee that met 5 times. Thank you, council members, and Mayor Pro Tem for that. It was a lively committee, and we appreciate your participation. It was great. Thank you for that. The committee requested various items of information that we provided that ranged from wage and employment information all the way to description of proposals, emergency preparedness, information regarding vehicles and accidents. So there was 10 items that we took note of, and we sent those inquiries to the proposals, and we got the answer to all of them, and we shared that information with the ad hoc committee. Of a note, through the ad hoc committee inquiries, the additional wage and employment information was provided, which we thought we wanted to share that with you. The average hourly wage ranged from $25.18 to $26.91. The average wage, payroll, taxes, and employee benefits ranged from $38 to $35. Employee represented by collective bargaining agreement, 4 of the haulers of the proposals have representation, 1 doesn't. Average tenure of drivers ranged from 10 to 23 years. And the question was, will the hauler or the proposal provide a preferential employment opportunities to qualified City of Santa Ana residents? The answer was yes from all of them. Right now, I would like to share with you our success in requesting a clean city initiatives. Give you a little background on that. It was requested by the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the council members. The initiative was directed and guided by our city manager and our executive management team. It was supported by all proposers. It provided a comprehensive right-of-way cleaning. It was developed by city staff and refined by our consultant, FH&H. It targets heavily traveled locations, industrial and business districts, and hotspots. Service locations can and will vary based on city right-of-way cleaning needs. This is, after all, a 10-year program where the service will vary over the years, so we have some flexibility there. Most of the services will be provided 6 days per week, not 5, 6. All proposals responded and will be able to provide that service. Services are to be phased over 24 months period. What are the services? A Clean City Initiative service enhancement. Number 1, we asked for a site-specific litter cleaning and bulky item removal. This is a proactive service where we're not waiting for someone to complain. We are asking them to drive the city and look for bulky items to be picked up and cleaned. So it's not on a call basis. It can be, but it's a proactive where we want them to drive the city basically and look for those areas, hotspots mostly. We also asked for a right-of-way trash container service and cleaning. Those are separate and different than the ones that are provided at the bus shelter. So we're adding more trash cans throughout the right-of-way, up to 250 of them. We also requested that they use and utilize our work order app. So there will be communication between city staff and the hauler, and also from the residents to the hauler directly to do some cleaning and pickup of items and things of that nature. We also requested that a sidewalk, litter, and debris cleaning service, that's the hardscape. We are targeting about 30 miles a week of cleaning of sidewalk, curb and gutter. We also have requested that they provide a power washing of our sidewalks, about 15 miles a week of that. Porter service was also requested. And we also requested that a washing and sanitizing of all bins once per year be provided to those customers that request. and we also requested that they provide us with a Clean Business Initiative program. Well, these services have some cost to them, and we went over that just before this. The rate adjustment for arranged for these services from 1% from the first year, 1 to 4.14 in the first year, and from 99% to 4.2 the second year, and for one proposal, the third year will add to 2.25%. These rates increases are in addition to the standard annual the consumer price index rate increases, and only apply to years 2 through 4 of the 10-year agreement. Next steps. Between June 23rd, tomorrow, and August 16, I welcome you to reach out to staff, to us, to talk about these agreements, issues you may have, questions you may have, so we can answer those and give you a perspective on what we're up against and answer your questions. On July 20, again, we will hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution of intent to grant a solid waste franchise to any one of the 4 proposals. On August 17 is when you select the hauler. On August 17, we will hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to grant a solid waste franchise and agreement to one of the 4 proposals. In the same time, you would authorize us to pursue a Proposition 218 process, which is the 45-day notification. We set the rates, we hold the hearing, and adopt our new rates for July 1, 2022. That concludes my presentation. Now we can transition into the proposals presentations. We have asked all 4 proposals to provide us with a 7-minute pre-recorded presentation about their services and why they are best for Santa Ana.
How'd you guys select who goes first? Draw straws or flip?
It is alphabetical.
Just kidding. Alphabetical works. So I just wanted to remind the public and the proposers and everybody else, this is a study session, so we're not going to be making any decisions tonight, but this is an opportunity for you to field some of the questions from the members of the council, and any other additional information you can provide in addition to what's in your presentation, what's been presented by staff. But just to remind everybody, this is simply more of an exchange of information, so we can make a better and more informed decision. And again, I forgot to thank the members of the ad hoc committee for serving and getting additional information. We know that it is a lot to absorb, so to the extent that that allows us to take a deeper dive, it certainly does help us. This is a significant, substantial contract that we will be entering into, so we appreciate the work and the time that was devoted and dedicated to this. So I'm not sure if staff's ready to go. You let me know.
We're ready.
All right?
So
We'll turn it back over to you all.
perfect. So we're going to go in alphabetical order, and the first video presentation will be from Athens.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Ramirez, Vice President of Government Affairs at Athens Services. I'm very excited to share with you more about our company and how we can be the best partner for the city of Santa Ana. Established in 1957, Athens Services is a local family-owned business, and for the past 11 years, we have been providing street sweeping services in Santa Ana. We are not new in this community, and we have been waiting for the opportunity to become your waste and recycling partner, which is why we structured our proposal to put money back into the wallets of your residents. Our proposed rate is the lowest rate, lower than what your residents are currently paying. That is a savings of nearly $60 a year compared to your current rates. Athens is different from the others in many ways. As a local company with our headquarters here in Orange County, we can make decisions and respond quickly to your needs. We own and operate all of our facilities, including 3 material recovery facilities and a composting facility, all that can service the city of Santa Ana. We have invested millions of dollars in technologies that keep us leading in sustainability. And when the technology is available to use electricity to power a collection vehicle, we will be the first to use it.
Athens focuses on creating a safe, healthy, and happy environment for all of our diverse employees. As a family-owned and operated company, we recognize that excellent service is a direct result of our great employees and all of their hard work. This is why we pride ourselves on offering the best benefits and compensation in the industry. Our drivers are paid very competitive wages and receive full medical coverage for themselves and their families at absolutely no cost to them. This is the main reason why since 1957, we have never experienced a work stoppage, a true testament to our dedicated and happy employees at Athens Services.
Pues en Athens me ha gustado el sistema de ellos, que si te das un problema te tratan de ayudar tanto y ellos tratan de ver por nosotros los trabajadores, pues, que es algo que pues, en otras áreas no se miran, que los dueños van y se presentan y conviven con los trabajadores. Y aquí sí los dueños se conocen, se prestan para estar con uno y hablar con ellos, atención y todo. Es pues algo bonito porque es ahí los dueños se prestan su tiempo para venir con nosotros a convivir como familia.
And this is one of the companies that give everybody opportunity. It's good for everybody because we all need an opportunity, you know? And this company give you the opportunity to grow, you know, to keep on going and going. If you want to be driver, helper, driver, supervisor, or whatever you want to be, this is the place to start. Yeah, very good company.
Hi, I'm Christina DeWong, and I am the Director of Business Analytics at Athens. I've been with the company for over 14 years. During my time at Athens, I've been involved in various aspects of our business, from post-collection to compliance, helping the company continue to grow. We are very excited for the opportunity for the City of Santa Ana to join the Athens family. Chúng tôi rất phấn khởi được thành phố Santa Ana gia nhập gia đình Athens.
As a member of the Athens team for the last 6 years, I have seen our company evolve and grow. This exponential growth has been achieved through empowering our employees. We drive change in the waste industry and how it operates. We look at other ways we can provide value in a community beyond waste collection. And we took this approach in the city of Santa Ana by providing 6 environmental managers. We can help the city address their environmental justice concerns through this approach.
My name is Daniela Ojeda, and I am the Government Affairs Manager that will be assigned to support the city of Santa Ana. I will be responsible for working with the community to implement outreach and environmental programs. Essentially, I will work with city staff and community groups and associations in order to keep Santa Ana clean and environmentally healthy. So I will not be doing this alone. One thing that is unique about the Athens proposal is that we will assign environmental managers to each of the city's wards, managers like Bailey. These managers will support city staff and help facilitate the services that Athens will be providing the city. For example, they will work with customers and the city staff in order to identify abandoned bulky items and get them removed quickly. They are basically an extra pair of eyes in the city's neighborhoods. In addition to them, I will also work with recycle coordinators who will conduct outreach and education to our customers.
Santa Ana is looking at their waste hauling franchise in a new way, taking a more holistic approach to combat other issues in the community. Included in our proposal is our porter services, such as power washing your sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, as well as litter cleanup. And we do this all with our own employees. We do not subcontract any of our services, which means consistency, quality, and control for all the services provided under this contract. So you might be wondering, how can we offer all of these services and still reduce your rates? Well, Athens is privately owned. We focus on Main Street, not Wall Street. We do not have any stockholder obligations, which helps us to keep our costs down. We look at contracts like Santa Ana's as a long-term investment, and we invest in the communities we serve. This is why we're proposing to build a facility in the city of Santa Ana. This location will be transformed into a state-of-the-art facility that will house our equipment used to service the city. This location will generate sales tax revenues for the city and create jobs for residents. And we will provide employment opportunities to Santa Ana residents first. We are very committed to supporting your community and have allocated $200,000 annually to do so. We will partner with workforce development organizations, provide internships, and establish an environmental scholarship fund. In addition, we will provide ongoing recycling workshops, educational tours of our facilities, provide compost giveaways, and engage with all of your community organizations. You've had a chance to hear from our team, and you know we will only use Athens employees in your city. And most importantly, we offer the absolute lowest rates. For the last 11 years, you've experienced our excellent service. We are ready, willing, and fully capable of becoming your new waste and recycling provider. As your trusted partner, you know you can count on us to get the job done. Now, let's move forward together.
The next video we will see will be from CR&R.
Imagine a world where zero waste is sent to landfills, where communities are able to conserve 100% of their resources, and operating a large-scale business is actually good for the environment. This is the mission CR&R has been working toward for nearly 60 years, and we are closer to achieving all of our goals than ever before. In 1970, CR&R opened one of the nation's first industrial recycling facilities and revolutionized the industry with our 3-cart collection system. Today, we service over 500,000 homes and businesses with industry-leading technology advancements. CR&R recovers over 250,000 tons of recyclables each year. Our state-of-the-art composting process takes green waste and produces a rich soil amendment for organic farms and gardens. Our $100 million anaerobic digester converts organic waste into renewable natural gas to fuel our fleet and connects directly to California's pipeline to supply renewable energy to homes and businesses. And we are proud to be the first California company to turn unrecoverable waste into bioenergy that can replace coal at industrial facilities. CR&R is on the road to zero waste. Our technologies are reducing millions of metric tons of greenhouse gases from our climate, with a fleet that will be carbon negative by 2028. We are offsetting fossil fuels by locally producing clean, renewable energy and keeping hundreds of thousands of tons of waste out of our landfills each year. CR&R's entire team is committed to leaving our communities, our state, and our planet a better one for the next generation. From humble beginnings in 1963, with one contract and a bold vision, to one of the nation's largest family-owned solid waste management companies, with more than 55 contracts, 1,000 trucks, 2,000 employees, and world-class technologies only available from CR&R. Join us. You've heard from us. Now we want you to hear from our partners and the community.
What an honor to work with business leaders, community leaders, friends and neighbors, helping our children grow, helping our neighborhoods stay clean and healthy. And that means good leadership, good management, and good stewardship. Bill Taormina, the Taorminas, are essentially synonymous with the Boys and Girls Club in Anaheim. Mike Silva and the Ronenbergs, of course. These individuals roll up their sleeves and make it happen. They just care about leaving this world a little bit better than the way we found it.
Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is so grateful to CRNR for making investments in technologies that help reduce diesel fuel and coal usage to clean the air in our community. Breathing healthy air is so important to children with cystic fibrosis, and we commend CRNR for their leadership in environmental sustainability and as longtime members of our board.
Thank you for the opportunity to reiterate how CRNR can provide unmatched technology, service, and benefits for Santa Ana. CRNR was honored to receive the #1 proposal ranking from Santa Ana City Experts for being an Orange County-based and Orange County-founded organization with the most Orange County facilities and contracts, as well as being privately owned. CRNR's landfill diversion results were 33% higher than all other proposers. CRNR offers an unmatched illegal dumping mitigation strategy with 2 full-time crews and innovative tracking software, as well as bulky item removal service for single and multifamily residences, disaster recovery storage containers, and automated community litter carts, and for being an undisputed industry-leading innovator, which has enabled us to achieve the lowest carbon footprint. CRNR is ready to serve Santa Ana, and we make the following commitments to you. Because CRNR has the lowest carbon footprint, Santa Ana will become the environmental leader in Orange County. Your solid waste management system will be in full compliance with all city, county, state, and federal regulations, the Paris Climate Agreement, the city's Greenhouse Gas Action Plan, reducing Santa Ana's carbon footprint by more than 1.5 million tons. CRNR will partner with Orange County Goodwill to create new career opportunities in Santa Ana for individuals with disabilities and barriers to employment. CRNR will also expand its existing union workforce of 200 members by offering 100% of your incumbents' union employees a job on our team. We will provide a union wage and pension, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, as well as paid holidays and vacation. CRNR will also be supplying annual passes for employees to Santa Ana's 3 most famous institutions, the Bowers Museum, Discovery Cube, and the Santa Ana Zoo. And we will provide over $1 million per year in direct donations and services because we are committed to making the world a brighter place. CRNR will generate more than $500,000 in local sales tax revenue by buying all of our new fleet equipment from Santa Ana businesses. CRNR will provide Santa Ana a seamless transition by leveraging the experience we gained when supporting 17 of our other current Southern California customers with switching contractors. On behalf of over 2,000 CRNR employees, we would be honored to add Santa Ana to our list of satisfied Orange County municipalities.
Hello, my name is Martin Lopez.
Where are you from?
I'm from Santa Ana.
You're from Santa Ana?
Santa Ana.
And how long have you worked for CRNR?
I'm working for 35 years, over 35 years.
What do you love about CRNR?
Oh, I love everything because they support me and my wife and my 4 children. I hope CRNR is selected to service the city of Santa Ana. Thank you.
Okay, and then the next one that follows is Republic Services.
We are Republic Services, a team of committed workers proudly representing Republic and the communities we serve. We are passionate about our customers and will be ready from day one to serve the city of Santa Ana.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. I'm Dave Hauser, Market Vice President for Republic Services in Southern California. First, I want to thank you for the incredible privilege to be considered as your solid waste and recycling partner. Before you is not just a waste services contract. It's a core municipal function that touches the life of every resident and business. Together, we'll depart from what you've had in the past into a new community-driven partnership. So why are we different? Because of our unparalleled existing infrastructure, our unmatched environmental leadership, our commitment to your community, and our relationship with labor and transition expertise. Let's dive into these 4 values that differentiate Republic.
Our local state-of-the-art facilities are the largest and most comprehensive in Orange County.
With 10,000 ton per day capacity at our Anaheim and Huntington Beach facility, we guarantee Santa Ana will have long-term capacity as well as environmental and regulatory compliance. With both facilities within 8 miles from city center, you can rest assured that Santa Ana's waste, recyclables, and organics will be serviced in the most efficient manner possible. No other solid waste provider in Orange County has this capacity. The city does not need to worry about building a new disposal facility inside a Santa Ana neighborhood because we are ready to accept all the materials today.
We're different because of our environmental leadership. We are the only solid waste provider committing to the City of Santa Ana the first completely electric, zero-emission refuse vehicle in year 1 of the contract. Compared to other proposers, our RNG vehicles will be commuting one of the lowest travel mileages, reducing air emissions, and doing our part to help improve the City of Santa Ana's air quality. We are the only hauler to win the 2020 Organics Recycler of the Year by the National Waste and Recycling Association for our innovative technologies to process and compost organics.
I love my dream job at Republic Services as a recycling coordinator. I'm passionate about public education to diverse communities and presenting to schools. Tôi rất vui được gặp gỡ cộng đồng người Việt tại Santa Ana và giúp họ tìm cách cứu môi trường.
As your dedicated municipal manager, I'm excited to become part of the Santa Ana community. We're proud to offer the community a free multi-family bulk item pickup program of 10 items per unit per quarter. Power washing and alley cleanups, $200,000 annually to local charities, $10,000 for city events, educational school visits, paid student internships, and $7,000 in student scholarships. A local hire initiative to recruit employees. Republic commits to using a local point of sale for our multi-million-dollar investment, which would generate sales tax revenue for the city and support your general fund. Will be accessible at a local office inside the city, providing personalized care with multilingual Spanish and Vietnamese capabilities to best serve the diverse residents and businesses. In addition to our RISE platform that notifies customers about real-time activity and our mobile app that allows customers to request a service, we'll integrate our systems with your My Santa Ana app for an effortless customer service experience. You're choosing the best partner for the community. Don't take our word for it. Take a look at the many recommendation letters submitted to you tonight from our municipal partners.
We will provide an effortless, seamless, and low-risk transition because I know every nook and cranny of the city. I was raised in Santa Ana and served as Solid Waste District Manager in Santa Ana for many years. I built Santa Ana's current routes running today. Upon award, we are ready to order 134,000 residential carts, 12,000 metal bins, and 78 brand new RNG vehicles. We will begin recruiting immediately. When I was a driver, I served side by side with Santa Ana current drivers. They know me and trust me, and they will be welcomed into a company that respects them and values them. Republic is certified as a great place to work and is ranked by Forbes as one of the best employers for women in LGBTQ equality amongst many other awards. With our combined transition experience, our local facilities, and our represented employees, we guarantee the complex process will be delivered seamlessly every step of the way. You have my personal commitment.
Tengo aquí en Santana viviendo 45 años. Estoy trabajando para Republic 41 años. Y en esos 41 años la compañía Republic Service me ha tratado con respeto y no solamente a mí, sino también a mis compañeros, los cuales nos anima a trabajar y a dar lo mejor que esté de nosotros para nuestros clientes.
Thank you for considering an award to Republic Services. Republic is your best value proposer because of what makes us different. Our unparalleled existing infrastructure, our unmatched environmental leadership, our commitment to your community, and our relationship with labor and transition expertise. On behalf of our entire Republic team, including 77 current employees that are Santa Ana residents, you have my personal commitment to take care of your community
and our home.
Estamos listos.
Chúng tôi sẵn sàng.
Estamos listos.
Okay, now our final presentation tonight will be by Waste Management.
Greetings, council members and staff. Thank you for allowing us the time to present our proposal for the city's solid waste hauling contract. My name is Ashley Bernier, and I will be one of your guides throughout this presentation. I'm the Public Sector Manager for Orange County, and I am accompanied by our Santa Ana District Manager, Joel Robledo.
Thanks, Ashley. I began my career at Waste Management 34 years ago, and I'm also a product of Santa Ana. I was raised on Gunther Street and graduated from Santiago High School. As a Santa Ana native, I'm proud to serve the community I grew up in, and I speak for the entire team when I say we are committed to the community and its people.
Since its humble beginnings in 1886, Santa Ana has taken a position of leadership in all aspects, creating a vision that celebrates its past and looks forward to its future. With over 50 years of service, we have been with the city through substantial changes. With the new service proposal and upcoming changes in state law, we are confident in our ability to smoothly transition residents and businesses. At WM, we believe you are not only seeking a simple service provider, we believe you are seeking a community partner to raise the quality of life for every resident and business. We have a proven, reliable, and consistent record, and our in-depth knowledge of the city's history will help us support your goals for the future.
Our company culture is rooted in commitments to sustainability, our customers, and our people. Our site proudly supports our employees and has a great relationship with the local union. We believe our employees are our greatest assets, and if we take care of them, they will take care of our customers, our communities, our environment, and each other. The objectives defined in your RFP show us that you're committed to the welfare of the people who live here. We are too. Not only do we work in the city, but many of our team members call it home. Oscar, Juan, Hilario, and Carlos exemplify just a few. They know that their work betters the communities in which they, their family, and their friends live. While our employees are the cornerstone of our operations, the services we provide are second to none. Our commitment to you is to continue our industry-leading customer service as well as provide new enhancements. Let's take a look at how Waste Management will fulfill these expectations.
WM's facilities are award-winning, fully permitted, and have available capacity to meet the needs of the city. The city is serviced out of our Santa Ana hauling yard, located just off Grand Avenue. Just north in Orange is our MRF and Core, where we take all of the city's source-separated recyclables and commercial food waste. To comply with SB 1383, the city's residential food waste will be delivered to our state-of-the-art Azusa transfer station and then transferred for composting. When it comes to compliance with current and upcoming state recycling laws, we understand that a massive education and outreach campaign will be needed early on, and we're ready to assist. We will hire 2 dedicated recycling coordinators in addition to the already dedicated staff, as well as pay for the city's third-party consultant to help achieve these efforts. WM is committed to providing diverse educational materials and multilanguage support to increase participation and teach customers how to recycle right. And as always, we are delighted to continue performing community outreach and tours throughout the life of the contract. Learned from nationwide experience, we bring best practices in diversion so we can face and overcome the challenges of SB 1383 together. Our history with the processing of the city's recycling material means that no other hauler comes close to understanding the city's waste character and collection dynamics. We continue to invest in technology to help capture recyclable materials and reduce contamination. Our proposal offers monthly waste characterization reports to help the city better understand its composition and diversion progress.
Whether on the streets, at events, at city council, or in your community, our people are trained to be customer service ambassadors. We use the most advanced call center technology and techniques to optimize our service and communication quality, but we never lose our local presence and local touch. Safety is a core principle at Waste Management. Through campaigns such as 100 Days of Summer Safety, Mission to Zero, and Waste Watch, our teams work to foster an environment of learning and growth that help us reach our safety goals, both on the job and in your community. Additionally, as your incumbent, our drivers have an intimate knowledge of your streets. Whether it's knowing school hours or traffic patterns downtown, we have insight into each route to provide the safest possible service to them. Our commitment to safety doesn't end when we leave our sites. Each one of our trucks is fitted with drive cam, backup and side cameras, as well as onboard computing systems. We also have a comprehensive preventive maintenance program for vehicles and equipment. Our maintenance team performs regular quality control audits and self-inspections. Before and after each shift, drivers are required to conduct a standardized safety and maintenance check.
We agree that this contract should be more than just a waste hauling contract, and that we can help improve the quality of life for all residents and businesses. We are confident in saying that no one is more acquainted with each of your streets, alleyways, and buildings, and from this, we have developed a keen sense of areas within the city that are prone to illegal dumping. With this knowledge, we have included within our proposal a no-charge, unlimited bulky item collection program for multifamily properties. In addition, we are excited to collaborate with you on the Clean City Initiative. We have and hope to continue to be more than just a trash service provider, as we are a true community partner. We roll up our sleeves and help the community by volunteering at events and hosting neighborhood cleanups. Over the years, we have supported and donated to over 104 local organizations and nonprofits. We are responsible stewards of the environment, leaders in sustainability, and we will continue to protect the health and well-being of our employees and neighbors. This is reflected in the services we provide your residents, our facilities, the conditions under which employees work, the implementation of our sustainability initiatives, and our interactions with those in your community. We may be a large company, but when it comes to delivering our services, we are a local business. This is a significant contract for both WM and the city, and as your long-term partner, we are strongly invested. I speak on behalf of all of us here at Waste Management Orange County when we say thank you for the opportunity.
Great, I think that was the last proposer, right?
Yes.
I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards and we were looking at some 4 really cool films, and right? Sorry, we don't have that card with us. So this is the moment for us to go ahead and have members of the public come and address the council. I have some cards for those of you who are here in person in chambers, but we also have some people that may be on the line that will address us. So I'll go ahead and call on those of you that are here first, and then I'll turn it over to the clerk of the council so she can field the calls from those that are waiting online. So let me begin with Elizabeth Ramirez, followed by Cord Leal. Oh, you're here for questions. Got it. How about Cord? Here for questions as well. I like that. Take note, everybody. Mike Silva. And you have 3 minutes to speak. You're under no pressure to fill those 3 minutes. If you can do it in less time,
all right.
That's
feeling
also
the pressure.
well.
Good evening, Council. I'm Mike Silva. I'm the Senior Vice President for CR&R and Civil Engineer. And I actually am a resident of Santa Ana. I reside in Floral Park with my wife, Denise. With my Q&A today is Crystal Denning, our Regional Vice President, and Bill Higginbotham, if you have other questions. I'm going to read my comments real quick here. You guys saw our video. Hopefully it illustrated our rich history and our capabilities and commitments to the city of Santa Ana. CR&R has been working towards this moment for almost 60 years. We're based in Stanton. We've been the first at most facilities around. We were the first major recycler in Orange County. We were the first to implement the 3-cart system in the city of Temecula almost 30 years ago. We built the first MRF in Orange County. We built the first solid waste processing facility in the nation. And then we just finished the first high solids anaerobic digestion facility, where we take the green waste and food waste and we convert into renewable natural gas. We're also the first company to put that into the California pipeline. No one else has done that so far. We're working on 2 more new projects. We have the contract for the Catalina Island, and over there we're working with USC, and they're growing kelp, and we're converting that to natural gas also through the digester. And we're also working with the Ball Company to convert water bottles and cups into aluminum so they become 100% recyclable and reduce marine waste. All these are created to create a circular economy, mitigate global warming, and conserve our natural resources. All of our programs and technologies comply with all the new regulatory issues of our time, but I think they also comply with a lot of the social issues we discuss, environmental justice and employee protections. All of our proposed services are performed in-house, from truck repair and painting to cart delivery and tracking. We have a sustainability division that now exceeds 20 full-time representatives, and we've executed numerous transitions over the years, and 100% of those municipalities are still our clients today. We've never lost a client in 60 years. Our $1 million in community investment will be $500,000 in cash donations managed by our strategic partner, the Terramina family, and over $600,000 in in-kind services. We have evolved from a recycling company to a solid waste management company to an environmental management company. And we're laser focused on eliminating landfills and running our fleet on 100% fossil-free renewable fuels. As you consider who to partner with, please ask yourself the same question that drives CR&R every day on our team. Are we doing everything within our power to leave our communities, our state, and our planet better for the next generation? As previously discussed with city staff, we're always available for facility tours and meetings. We are confident that we can jointly make Santa Ana the greenest municipality in the county and the county's environmental leader. We appreciate the time tonight and are open to questions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mike. Crystal, do you just want to say ditto, or is there something you wanted to add?
Ditto.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks. Jose de Leon, followed by Randy Alonso.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sarmiento and council members. My name is Jose de Leon, and I'm an Assistant General Manager for Athens Services. I was born and raised in the city of Santa Ana, and I currently reside here, Wilshire Square. I run the day-to-day operations for our Salt Lake yard in the City of Industry. Our team ensures that 150 drivers leave our yard every single day and return back to the yard every day and back to their families safely. As an employee of Athens, I can tell you that working for a family-owned business is something special. We're a very large team, but feels more like a family. You hear the word family. You heard it on our videos. At Athens, it's all about our employees, whether it's the office employees or shop employees or the backbone of our company, our drivers. I have witnessed firsthand the quality of service that we provide to our customers, from city events such as cleanups, compost giveaways, or even small gestures like pictures with children during the holidays, birthdays. We're involved with all that. Athens doesn't just strive to be the best, we are the best. For that reason, I am excited that Athens Service is being considered for my city, the city of Santa Ana. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Let's have a good night.
Thank you, Jose. Randy Alonso, followed by Jesus del Toro.
Good evening, Mayor Sarmiento and council members. My name is Randy Alonso. I have been a commercial driver for Athens Services for 5 years and going. And let me just say it's been an honor to have to serve Santa Ana if everything is right, and look forward to servicing in the future, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesus del Toro, followed by Vincent Vadney, followed by Alvaro Padilla.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sarmiento and council members. My name is Jesus del Toro, and I've been a Athens driver for the last 10 years. Why do I like working for Athens? As you heard on the video, it's a family-owned business, established in 1957, and it's well managed. Provides excellent service and one of the few companies that offer same-day service. For employees, excellent benefits, and very competitive wages. Me being the only provider, I'm able to get my family through and hopefully get my kids through college. And as a customer, because I live in Bell Gardens, they've been servicing Bell Gardens for the last 19 years. Their service is excellent. When requested, they respond right away. Contracts are always met. Alleys in my neighborhood are always kept clean. That's about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for those comments. Vincent Vadney, followed by Alvaro Padilla, followed by Tania Castañeda.
Good evening, Mayor Sarmiento and council members. My name is Vincent Vadney, and I am the current street sweeping supervisor for the city of Santa Ana. Over the past 11 years that we've been privileged to service the city, I've actually had my own personal privilege to service you guys and the community since 2016, so about 5-6 years now. And through those years, I've been able to build with Public Works, I feel, a great working relationship, and I believe at the same time they would attest to that and confirm that. And I pride ourselves on being responsive, taking care of any matter, whether a resident call or anything above that, very seriously, and try to take care of it in a timely manner. Also, being the street supervisor here, we run all hours of the night. We run every street. So I've seen every nook and cranny of this city, which has given us the benefit of knowing where these hot zones are, what can benefit the city moving forward if we are able to be your waste hauler moving forward. And I look forward to moving forward with you guys and being able to offer that service and growing our team within the city and providing that great leadership and that great responsiveness towards your city. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Alvaro Padilla, followed by Tania Castañeda, followed by Dave Hauser.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor Sarmiento and council members of the beautiful city of Santa Ana. My name is Alvaro Padilla, and I'm a proud employee of the Athens family, a member of the Athens family. I've been working with Athens Services for 25 years. I turned 25 years last month. So working for Athens Services has been one of the highest points of my life. I'm proudly say that I work for a company that embrace and welcome diversity. Proud said I'm a driver that I work for a company that recognize and value hard work. I can proudly say that I work for a company that consider the drivers one of their best assets. So for all that, I always will be grateful. It made me proud to be here representing Athens, and I hope you guys give us the opportunity to make you feel proud and all the customers that we have, you guys have the service from Athens Services. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Tania Castañeda, followed by Dave Hauser, followed by Joana Beltran Ramos.
Testing. We're good? Great, thanks. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Honorable Council members. I'm Tania Castaneda, Municipal Manager with Republic Services, joined tonight with our Market Vice President, Dave Hauser, Operations Manager,
Steve Lopez, and our wonderful Santa Ana residents and drivers and employees of Republic Services among the various awards. If you wouldn't mind standing up just to greet the Honorable Council real quick with a quick hello. Thank you. We just wanted to show our appreciation tonight to the Council for all your hard work and your vision. We're honored to be a part of that vision, and we're here to answer any questions you have. So thank you for allowing us to the opportunity to help you achieve your vision for a clean city. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Dave, do you want to just be ready for questions? Thanks for that. Joanna Beltran Ramos.
Hello, good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. My name is Joanna Beltran Ramos, proud Santa Ana Ward 5 resident in the Salvador Park neighborhood. I'm born and raised Santa Ana resident, and I'm a Republic Services Operations Supervisor. As a resident, thank you for serving our community and making Santa Ana the future of Orange County. This solid waste agreement is a great step forward to a new Santa Ana, as I see many new faces. Joining me tonight is my fellow Santa Ana resident and supervisor, Rudy Valladares, and drivers that live in various wards of the city. I had the honor to serve in Santa Ana for 7 years with your current hauler, and as my home, I know Santa Ana very well. I chose to further my career in Republic Services, a company that gives me the opportunity to speak and lead. At Republic, we value the diversity of our workers and the diversity of our communities. 1/3 of our supervisors are female. I love this company and I love Santa Ana. And on behalf of my employees and neighbors, I ask for your vote in July. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Ashley Brunier, followed by Doug Corcoran. Thank you, Ashley. Doug, you as well? Thanks. Jesse Hernandez. Puede hablar en español y después se lo traducimos si gusta, si se siente mejor.
Sí, buenas noches. Yo tengo viviendo aquí en la ciudad de Santa Ana 45 años y he visto el desarrollo enorme de esta ciudad. Y gracias a los gobernantes a través de los años, ¿verdad? Aquí en la ciudad, aquí en Flower y todo lo que es alrededor de lo que es Civic Center y Santa Ana, las casitas antiguas ahora son enormes edificios, lo cual me siento orgulloso de vivir en la ciudad de Santa Ana con todo este tiempo, ¿verdad? Gracias nuevamente a todos los gobernantes, y creemos que Hernández, Becerra, Peñalosa, Pan, Sarmiento y todo el staff, López, van a seguir todo este crecimiento de la ciudad de Santa Ana, ¿verdad? Estoy orgulloso. También quiero decirles que estoy orgulloso de trabajar en Republic Services por 41 años. He visto también el desarrollo de esta compañía. Todos trabajamos en unión. Gracias a Dios y gracias también que servimos o damos lo mejor a nuestras comunidades porque trabajamos con gozo, con alegría y con mucho entusiasmo, ¿verdad? Además de eso también tenemos un programa de seguridad, lo cual nos ayuda a mantenernos fuera de accidentes y además de eso regresar sanos y salvos a nuestra casa, ya que la compañía nos provee el mejor equipo. Como hemos visto en el video, tenemos los mejor equipo, camiones de LNG, CNG, ya dice el pasado de historia, probablemente en el futuro ya vienen los eléctricos, ¿eh? Además de eso, creo yo que nos tratan con respeto y con cariño, y eso nos ayuda a dar lo mejor a nuestras comunidades, a varias ciudades que servimos, y estamos listos para servir a la ciudad de Santa Ana con el mejor esfuerzo, ¿verdad? Y creo yo que lo vamos a hacer, ¿verdad? Poniendo el mismo esfuerzo que hemos tenido durante muchos años, todos trabajamos en equipo, en unión, y vamos a seguir haciendo lo mejor para la ciudad de Santa Ana y servir y dar el mejor servicio a las comunidades. Sí, muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Yes. Hello, my name is Ruye Valladares. I've been Jesse Hernandez. I've been here for 45 years. And I just wanted to thank everyone who has governed here. I've seen this area from Flower to Civic Center. The buildings, the development has been enormous, and I'm very proud of all the work that those who've governed in here have made over the years. And I wanted to thank all of the, about Republic Homes, we continue to provide the best service. We all work together in unity. I have been with Republic Homes for 41 years, and I'm very grateful to God. Here we are, we share a lot of joy, a lot of enthusiasm in the work that we provide, and we're here ready to serve. We have a safety program here where we are able to prevent accidents. We're able to return healthy and safe to our homes. We have used electric vehicles. We are treated with respect. We are ready to serve the city of Santa Ana with the same efforts that we've been able to do. We work in unity, and we are ready to keep giving our best service to the city of Santa Ana.
Thank you. Courtney Calderon.
Hi, I'm going to speak in English. I had originally said that I wanted to translate it. I'll speak in English. And sorry if I stumble over my words or like speak too fast. I get nervous when I speak in front of people. And while I know that this is a study session and nothing is being decided right now, I do want to remind you guys whose money you're using to pay for this contract. Because while there are 4 companies behind me that are trying to get a contract, it's the people's money. And the quality jobs, they like to placate that they are born and raised in Santa Ana. Great. How have the quality jobs that you have provided for our Santa Ana residents been? They're literally tokenizing our people. The people behind us deserve quality jobs whose medical insurance is not tied to their jobs. So how many of the people in the business suits behind me are your campaign donors and actually financed so that you can sit in the seats you're sitting? It's great to see that the Chamber of Commerce runs the city. Okay, Mayor? So when they're saying that it's required by code, that's regulation. That's things that you guys decide. So stop saying that you guys can't do things when it comes to the quality of life that our Santa Ana residents are dealing with. Okay? And Vicente, please at least look at me in the face. Okay? Because I supported you. I want more accountability. I want you to follow up the things that you campaigned on with action. And if not, then at least be willing to say who you work for. Because if the paycheck you get from them is bigger than the one that you get from your residents, we know who you work for. And that goes for you too, all of you all.
Thank you for those comments. And Madam Clerk, I think we have some comments on the phone.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Mayor. And before I open up that line, I did want to also announce that we did receive written communication. We received 4 in support of Athens Services, 15 Republic Services. 2 Santa Ana residents commented requesting that council award the city's trash service to a new hauler that will have the best interest of residents in mind. And with that, the line for conference calls and Zoom has been open since 4:40. The line is now closed. The public has been informed to call by 5 p.m. on the agenda, city meetings website, and email sent to the subscribers. To request to speak on the special meeting agenda item regarding solid waste, please dial *9 from your phone or select raise hand from Zoom. Zoom ID Dora Castro. If you would please select the unmute feature on your device. Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, Mayor Sarmiento and council members. My name is Dora Castro, and I'm a franchise liaison contract specialist at Athens Services. I have been with Athens for 21 years, and over the years, I have grown and developed in different roles. Part of this growth has allowed me to become a key team member of the transition team, working with various departments to fully execute the vision of the city. I have been involved with all of our transitions, working closely with city staff, ensuring a seamless transition and continuing to provide ongoing support. I am also the lead trainer for our customer service team, ensuring that they are familiar with all aspects of the contract and ready to welcome and provide exceptional service to our new customers. I am also the chair of the business ambassadors for one of our cities and volunteer many hours on behalf of Athens Services in our communities, which includes a number of events and outreach to residents and city council. Working for Athens is not just a job to me, it's a passion and an opportunity to make a difference in our communities by showing our customers how valuable they are. As a customer service professional, we are trained to listen to the customer's needs, address their concerns, and follow through with action. These beliefs are what keeps me at Athens, as I believe in the premise of customer is first. I am part of a team that is empowered to act on behalf of the customer, to ensure satisfaction, and build relationships by way of putting people first, providing the best possible service, all while being sensitive to the environment. Athens empowers me to perform my job with a commitment to excellence and a can-do attitude. I have seen firsthand the great quality of service we provide to our customers. This is not only from our collection side. All departments have opportunities to get involved with our communities through our outreach efforts. Everyone at Athens is valued, heard, and has a voice. Our customers are not just in numbers to us. We provide every customer with personalized service. For these reasons, I strongly recommend Athens Services and respectfully ask that you consider selecting Athens Services to be the City of Santa Ana's residential and commercial solid waste service provider. Thank you for the opportunity and to speak and your time.
Thank you. Zoom ID Ron Herrera, if you would please select the microphone icon on your device. Thank you. You may proceed.
Distinguished Mayor and City Council members, my name is Ron Herrera, Secretary Treasurer of Teamsters Local 396 for the past 20 years and President of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor. We are a labor union with a proud history that includes representing thousands of sanitation workers throughout Southern California, including Orange County. This includes workers at Waste Management, Republic Services, and CR&R Stanton and San Juan Capistrano. As you know, Waste Management has been the current incumbent hauler here in the city of Santa Ana for decades. Our members work and live in your communities. Through their hard work and this city contract, they have been able to raise their families and even put their children through college. As this city council considers who to contract for waste hauling services, this council must continue to prioritize contracting a union waste hauler that provides its workforce with a vehicle to the middle class and can provide quality services to city residents. I encourage our city leaders to pursue the least disruptive option for both Teamster members and Santa Ana residents who depend on quality waste collection services. The city of Santa Ana must prioritize the selection of a company where workers have a voice on the job, safe working conditions, earn good wages, have a pension, and full family health care. And I emphasize full family health care for themselves and their families. That's why the city of Santa Ana has done for decades. You all have been a model city in the U.S. for decades, promoting good governance and supporting good union jobs. For that, the Teamsters Union and our members are grateful. It's shameful that a company like Athens only provides full family health care for its drivers and not the rest of its workforce. The great city of Santa Ana has done better and can continue to do better. As a city where a significant percentage of your constituents are working class immigrants of color, It is important to select a hauler that provides good jobs, respects your communities, and creates a bright future for workers like you have now.
15
Santa
seconds
Ana
left.
has always been a great partner to the Teamsters and its members, and I urge you to please select a company that treats its workers with respect, not a company that puts profits over workers. Select Waste Management, Republic Services,
Thank you. Your
or
time is
Squaw.
up. Thank you. Zoom ID, Robert Podlesny. If you would please select the microphone icon. Thank you.
Thank you, and fantastic work on my last name, so appreciate that. Good evening, members of the City Council and all of the disposal companies represented here tonight. Thank you not only for the opportunity to speak, but for your service to the community. I think a lot of times this is a thankless role, and so I appreciate you doing the due diligence through this RFP to select the best vendor. I came on a number of months ago to communicate my displeasure with CR&R in a number of different areas for which I have a voice and a presence in the community. I not only echo that, but have done quite a bit of research just given the issues I've had with different disposal companies throughout Southern California, and just wanted to come on to express my vote and my delight in being able to push Athens services. I think that having finally opened up a facility in one of their locations, it's a breath of fresh air. As a business owner, as a resident, and as a member of the community, they've gone above and beyond not only to service my business where other providers here tonight haven't, but they've never left me high and dry. So I appreciate all the time that you've put into this. I know that it's not an easy decision to make, but I think that you'll find that my experience is echoed by a number of individuals here and by those drivers and individuals and employees who've come out to speak tonight. So I'd urge all the members of the City Council to vote for Athens and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Zoom ID, Hoyen Ip. If you would please select the microphone icon. Thank you. You may proceed with your comment.
Good evening, Council. I'm Hoyen Yip, a member of the Sierra Club. So first, I always want to thank Council for so much work you do. It's always exciting to be a Santa Ana Council member. And also, a hauler contract is a huge project. So I want to thank staff for doing that. During the presentation, there was a lot of numbers. That was a lot of numbers for me to digest. So I don't have any recommendation for any hauler. I just have a few questions that I want to raise. I hope Council will take them into consideration. Well, first, I just say that Santa Ana really understands environmental justice. And we know that often people want to save a dime to sacrifice environmental justice. So this is an opportunity we need to address it. Maybe 2 months ago, I sent you a letter from the Sierra Club on SB 1383 implementation. By now, I believe Council deeply understands SB 1383 is about environmental justice. So I just got a text from a resident. She said, she asked me to ask you why for several months by now, her trash can and the green can all going to the same truck. That is wrong. And so on the other hand, in staff's presentation, it says the new contract will be effective in July 2022. So I wonder what's going to happen between now and then, and also the January 1st date when SB 1383 is becoming effective. Another question I have is that when you consider the hauler, I hope you would require them to provide the proof of how they track secondary markets. We know some companies are still shipping plastic waste to Asia. That is not for environmental justice. Recently, Palo Alto renewed a contract that was controversial because they actually renewed a contract with a company that couldn't approve the how they track secondary market. Lastly, during staff presentation said 3 of the companies use CNG fueled trucks. CNG is fossil fuel, but one of the 3 companies here said it's actually zero emission vehicle. I just wanted to clarify that. It's not
15 seconds left.
Thank you. I'm done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Zoom ID Cuberto Garcia, if you would please select the microphone icon. Cuberto Garcia, if you would please select the microphone icon on your device. Persona en el Zoom con el nombre Cuberto García, si puede marcar el sonido en el aparato en cual está usando Zoom. You may proceed with your comment. You haven't successfully unmuted yourself. Thank you. You've successfully unmuted yourself. You may proceed with your comment. Okay, Mayor, it looks like that was the last comment.
Great. Thank you for that, Madam Clerk. Let me go ahead and bring it back to the council. And so there isn't really a specific format on how we do this. I think this is more of an opportunity for members of the council to ask questions of staff and ask questions of maybe the principals and staffs of the proposers present. So, to the extent that, each council member may have a specific area of inquiry, you're free to do so. We're going to try to keep ourselves limited in our time. We can go and do this maybe on a couple of rounds if there is more questions, and maybe sometimes answers provoke additional questions. So maybe we do it this way, and we'll try to keep it as informal as possible. Again, as I said, we're not going to be making any decisions tonight, but this is more of an exchange, hopefully, of information and of ideas. And this is as open and transparent a process as we possibly can try to make it. I know that unfortunately, others don't do as much as we do. We try to bring people in person. We try to bring people in virtually, by phone. So to the extent that I think we try to go above and beyond on multiple opportunities to have not only members of the council, but members of the public and residents be able to comment and observe what's happening. So this is literally being done in the light of day. So that's something we should all be proud of. So let me go ahead and bring it back to the council and see if there's any questions, if anybody would like to start. I think do we not have Councilmember Hernandez with us, I believe, on the phone, or is he with us as well?
That is correct. Councilmember Hernandez had an emergency last minute, so he's not participating.
So
today.
The only person on the line that we may have is Councilmember Mendoza.
Correct.
Perfect. Excellent. Don't all jump at once. I know it was a lot of information. We can call it an early night if you'd like to. So go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor Sarmiento. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank my colleagues for allowing me to serve on this ad hoc committee to go through this process. It's definitely been a very enlightening and learning experience for me personally. Just, as a child, just growing up, you always wonder, where does your trash go when it leaves your front yard? And it was nice to kind of learn this whole process of what happens. So very happy to see that. Very happy to, I served on the ad hoc along with Councilmember Mendoza and Councilmember Fan, who, we, just collaboratively tried to think of everything, and we're in the business to provide a service to our residents, and it's trying to get that service, everything from into their palm of their hands using the app, which is one thing that we ask for, to just at the same time doing this and keeping in mind the working conditions of the drivers, the working conditions of the people sorting this trash, the environmental impacts that any of these trash haulers will have on our city. It was a lot. It was definitely something that we discussed in length, and I'm happy to see a lot of these things addressed with numerous couple of the haulers. But with that said, I just had a couple questions for Director Saba, which, of course, thank you for putting this presentation together. You and your staff, I know, have also been working on overdrive the last couple of months, years actually, to put this together. So thank you for your work on your end. One question that I had in regards to just simple layout of the presentation. I know you had year 1 through 5 listed on there, and during the ad hoc meetings, we were presented years 1 through 10. And I know that there was a slight difference. It wasn't extremely different, but was there a reason why 6 through 10 wasn't included in this presentation for everyone else to see?
We felt that 1 through 5 is appropriate at this time because Proposition 218 requires that we declare and be upfront with this pricing from year 1 through 5. Years 1 through 10 would look the same. From year 5 to year 10 will probably be looking the same because the only increases would be the consumer price index and those indices that I've listed. So the increases will be based on those for all haulers. So the numbers would be the same. Kind of the increases would be the same.
Okay, I think just me personally, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but I would like to see, when it's presented before the full council, I'd personally like to see the full 10-year time frame of this. Even if it stays the same or it's not much different, it would be nice just for transparency's sake and the public's sake to see what that projection looks like over the next 10 years, because this is something that comes out of our residents' pockets, and they are paying for this, so it'd be nice for them to see what this looks like. Staff and maybe the trash haulers understand what the consumer price index means and what percentage increases are coming, but to put it just in plain black and white for our residents would be appreciated.
Will do.
So that's just my one ask for now, and I'll leave it at that for now. I'm just happy to see that a lot of the things we did ask for collectively in this ad hoc are being considered and agreed to by many of them. So that's it for now. I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Great, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Let me go ahead and turn it over to Councilmember Fan.
Thanks, Mayor. Will each of the representatives please just come up, because I might have, or I guess I can start with one at a time. Maybe that's easier. Or just sit in the front, because I'm sure a bunch of us will have questions.
Stand up. Stand up again.
Simon says. Well, first, I do want to thank staff and our consultant on this, because I know that we asked for a lot. We kept coming back for more information, and I'm so excited that we did, because I don't think any of us up here, at least speaking for myself, are worried that any of the 4 haulers are capable of picking up trash, but we are very focused on ensuring that we have community benefits to our residents. We are, going to be a big contract. So I will start just in alphabetical order. That's how I have my notes. So I'll start with Athens. Great. Hi.
Cord Lolliam, Executive Vice President of Athens for Operations.
Elizabeth Ramirez, Vice President of Government Affairs.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you for your presentation. A few questions, and whoever wants to take it as we go along. So The first is, obviously with each of the contractors, I Google you, I try to find information. And the first thing I am really curious about is this, I think it was 2012, so it might be a little while ago, but it's a lawsuit with the city of Montebello regarding the waste contract. I mean, there was a lot of controversy over that. If you can help explain to me how that ended and what the situation was, because I believe it had to do with a violation of ethics rules and conflicts of interest. So can you just explain that to me?
I can answer that. We did do a summary in our RFP response. This is with the city of Montebello. We had signed an extended contract with them. They passed a measure that required all contracts to go out to bid, and there was a conflict because we had the contract prior. We did get it resolved. It was ruled in Athens' favor, and we are currently the hauler there.
Okay, so you are the hauler there?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's helpful to know. I really do appreciate, you saying that there's no work stoppage with Athens, or that you don't subcontract your services, so I know it's you doing the work. The other question I had was, I think in your video you did talk about having location with whether it was extending or expanding a location in Santa Ana, or a facility that would hire residents. Can you explain that to me?
Well, we offered two options. We wanted to work with the city to develop a yard locally, if that's the preference. We will have an office in Santa Ana regardless. Alternatively, we have identified a yard within 3 miles of here that we can spin up a yard within 6 months.
Okay, so one option is in Santa Ana and one is not.
Yes.
Great.
But we will have a yard for sales tax, and we can purchase everything through the city.
Sorry, will you say that last part again?
We will have a yard or a office in Santa Ana, and we will purchase all of our equipment through Santa Ana.
Also, that's a point of sale.
Got it. Well, I think I might have made comments before, maybe it wasn't the ad hoc. But, I'm personally not interested in having more trash facilities in the city of Santa Ana or anything like that. In my opinion, it kind of continues to perpetuate this stereotype that Santa Ana is a place that is not very desirable. So that is just my personal opinion. I don't know what my colleagues think, but I wanted to let you know that. The other is, okay, so during some of your responses, you mentioned that you don't believe electric collection vehicles are currently feasible, but that you are interested in pursuing that once it is an available or proven technology. Can you explain that a little bit more to me? Because I think in the UK, at least one of the cities is already using all electric vehicle trash hauling.
I can. The Mack truck that we saw in the video is an example. There's 2 in beta test right now. We're waiting to see the results of that. One of the challenges with electric vehicles right now is the capacity tends to be about half of what a CNG vehicle is. So we're waiting to be able to have a vehicle that can do multiple turns a day. Currently, we'd need about 2 to 3 trucks for every truck for CNG.
Great, because, at least for me, if you watch any of our previous meetings in the last 2 or 3, there is concern regarding climate issues, and the quicker we can move to something that is renewable is, for me, more important. The last thing I wanted to, have a question about is, so Athens does not have a facility here in Orange County, correct?
We have our corporate office in Irvine, but we do not have an office here.
Okay, do you have any recycling or any other trash facilities here in Orange County?
We do not. We have partnerships with all of them.
Okay, and so if your haulers are picking up trash here in Orange County, where does it go?
Well, the black or the waste goes to Bowerman landfill. We also have multiple options for recycling, and we have internal capacity for all recycling and green waste.
So where does your recycling go?
Recycling, we negotiate with a local hauler, or we can take it to our City of Industry transfer station, as well as the green waste.
Okay, and...
That would go to Tierra Verde, I'm sorry.
Sorry?
The green waste would go to Tierra Verde.
Okay, and so it would be a partnership with either local facilities or in City of Industry.
Correct.
What do you anticipate to be the percentage that would go to City of Industry versus local?
Don't anticipate any, to be honest with you. There's quite a few recyclers around here, and we expect to be able to negotiate a contract, but we do have our own facilities.
Okay, and how far would the travel be from here to the City of Industry?
It is 36 miles, I believe.
Okay, would that affect our contract in any way, if you are not able to?
No, we've committed to take care of the recyclables.
Great. So that's all the questions I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, for Athens anyway. Okay. May I have a CR&R?
Mike Silva, Senior Vice President.
Crystal Denning, Regional Vice President.
Hi, welcome. All right, so my questions with CR&R is, again, Google's our best friend, and of course staff. And for many of us up here, worker safety is really paramount. A lot of trash haulers and employees live in the city of Santa Ana, as well as, we are a very walk-heavy city. We have a lot of pedestrians and public transit users. So a couple things. First, Ms. Ofelia Sanchez, she passed away at a CR&R facility under an accident. What have you done to improve facility safety?
Colton, right? I believe that's our Colton facility.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, she was a traffic director up there. And so we've now reinstituted our training, and we've doubled our safety department. We have now 4 people full-time. That was actually, unfortunately, ruled employee negligence, her own fault. I hate to say that. It's not a good thing for someone that passed, but yeah, it was an unfortunate accident. But we've retrained everybody, and that should not happen again. We had the backup alarm. Everything was working. Backup alarms, CalOSHA, everything was signed off. She was in the wrong place, unfortunately.
Got it. So when you say employee negligence, it was in part.
I guess you'd say it's her own fault. I hate
Right.
to say that. That's not a, I don't know what the right term for that is, but that's
No,
what
that's helpful. Just,
Okay.
we have a lot of people, the public's listening, and we just want
Yeah.
to make sure that we understand those terms. The other question I wanted to ask was another case involving the death of young Brock McCann, who was a pedestrian. I believe he was 4. And this involved a collision with a trash hauling truck. And so can you talk a little bit about what your facility or your training has done to improve driver safety or pedestrian safety?
Yeah, I believe that's the one in Newport. That's the one in Newport Beach. Again, unfortunately, it was ruled pedestrian it was their fault. Our guy was making a right-hand turn, and he literally drove underneath our truck. We have since added, I guess you'd call them, I can't think of what the right word is. It's like backup alarms. You have those on the front and back of obviously the newer
Collision
truck.
avoidance systems is what we've
There you
implemented to
go.
our fleet. Very much a tragedy that happened. Fortunately, something that could happen in any community, and that's why we take all these additional steps. We've instituted a collision avoidance system. We've reinforced other safety measures that we do on an ongoing basis. At the end of the day, we want to make sure all of our employees come home safe, and we're providing safe service in our community.
Was that case settled?
Was that again?
Was the case settled?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I do want to mention I was really impressed by the way that you turn green waste into energy. I
Yes.
think that's always a really
It's the
fantastic
only game in town
thing.
right now.
Awesome. And I also want to commend you on pursuing a fleet carbon negative, going carbon negative by 2028. I think that's a really aggressive agenda, but also extremely necessary, especially when we see what's going on in the world today. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to understand was, you have your LA employees are unionized, but not the ones here in Orange County. Is that correct?
No. We are a union in San Juan Capistrano and our Stanton yard. And our Riverside yard just voted the union in. They're negotiating that contract right now. And LA that's a union yard. We have one non-union yard in Garden Grove.
Okay. And are your drivers union?
What's that?
Are your drivers union?
Yeah, the drivers for this city are union, yes.
Okay.
They'll come out of our Stanton yard.
Absolutely.
Got it.
100%.
So
And we're
the
going to
folks,
take on all the other drivers if we're fortunate to get picked. We'll take on we're in the same Teamsters union as you heard Ron Herrera talk about. We're in the exact same union as everybody else.
got it. So that means that if you were awarded the contract, your employees servicing Santa Ana would be unionized.
100%.
Great. That's fantastic to hear. I do also want to also commend you, at least from the video, stating that you would buy local, but also never lost a client in 6 years. I think that's quite commendable. And with that, I will go on to the next hauler.
Can I clarify one? Athens made a great comment about the electric trucks, and I just want to reiterate what they're saying. We find it to be unproven at this point in time, but I will say this: a truck on RNG is actually cleaner than electric. The grid is actually dirtier than our RNG, and we're going through that certification with CARB right now. So we're actually, our fleet that will be in Santa Ana will be carbon negative the first day. The video is talking about my entire fleet of 1,000 trucks. But the trucks that we put into Santa Ana the first day will be carbon negative the very first day because we make our own fuel.
Great, so actually, if you can clarify that. So I just want to, I guess RNG is renewable natural gas, and that comes from the, anaerobic natural gas that you create from the recovery of waste, of green waste, versus compressed natural gas, which is still pumping from the ground and using it, even though it's compressed methane, essentially, which for those who don't know, still creates ozone effects. So that's really helpful to know. So all of your trucks right now are RNG?
That is correct. Yeah, we buy all of our fuel from Clean Energy, and all of it's RNG. We make about a third of it ourselves, and we buy the other 2/3.
And the RNG you use is from your own facility?
One more time?
The natural gas you use for your cars are from your own facility?
Yes, for this facility, yes.
Great, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Will Republic please, will the real Republic please stand up?
Dave Hauser, Market Vice President.
Tanya Castaneda, Municipal Manager.
Great, hi.
Hi.
So, all right, so a few questions for you. My question has to do with some of the labor practices and relationships that you've had, again, with Google and all that other stuff. I am curious about the labor relationships at the Anaheim trash processing facility. I mean, I believe that there was a vote to authorize a strike. Whatever happened to that? Or if I'm mistaken, you can just let me know.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I think we had, about a year ago or so ago, we had a little sympathy strike for a day or two in support of Teamsters in Massachusetts. But that was just a very small event, and most of our drivers actually preferred to get back on route and make sure they could take care of their customers on those days. So it was just a very short period of time. Okay,
and with that, I guess sympathy strike, you might call it, did it result in a stoppage of work?
Just for a few hours. Some of the individuals did some picketing outside the front, and then they went to work after that. So.
Okay, and I'm not sure if this is more toward Nabil or for y'all, but in our slides, there was the chart about the satisfaction rating. I know that we received a lot of supportive letters regarding your services, but there was a ratings chart that listed Republic at, I think, 2.9 out of 5. Can you kind of expand on that and explain what that is?
Sure, Council Member. This is a survey that our consultants done, and it looks like I can't go back to the chart itself, but there was a response and a questionnaire that we got the ratings from, and that's the result of it.
Was it anonymous? Or did you, were the responses anonymous, or did you just?
I'll have to refer to our consultant who really conducted that survey if you want me to.
Okay.
Sure, Laith is here to answer. Go ahead, Laith.
I might have more questions, but I wanted to.
Good afternoon.
You're so tall in person.
Council member.
I only see him on Zoom, so it's just this
I've seen
much.
only video for a long time. Like these at HF&H Consultants. We called the primary contract manager in each of the cities that was using the different companies to talk to someone that really understood what was happening and that managed those agreements in the different cities. We have a 15 or 20-minute questionnaire. We start with questions about collection and then recycling programs and working with the city staff, customer service, and then we conclude at the end of the survey with, on an overall basis, now that they've considered all those elements, how do you rank the performance of the company with that scale from 1 to 5? It's not anonymous. We're doing the interviews, but we tell them when we report back, we're going to aggregate their data so that one particular jurisdiction doesn't get any negative feedback from any of the companies.
So if it's possible, I know if we can aggregate it or just share clips of comments, I think would be really helpful for me personally to see that, if possible, without listing anyone's names, titles, and cities.
I don't know that we have written comments, a telephone survey, but what we could do, if it would be helpful, is in some of the sub-areas, we could break out, the aggregated data, if the sub-scores are of use.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful for me. Thank you. Okay, so back to Republic. Again, we got those letters of support from other local electeds who obviously are using Republic in their facilities, but maybe there is a disconnect between some of the electeds and the contract managers. I don't know. So we'd like to see that data, and obviously you have another opportunity to get us some of that information.
Yeah, if I could weigh in on it. We were shocked to see the results of that as compared to some of the other haulers. I think we had presented all our references for all our Los Angeles and Orange County cities and lots of names and lots of phone numbers, so we're not quite sure how it was tallied, so we'd be interested to see that as well. But we did provide the 15 letters for you today to take a look at from happy customers, right, who appreciate a good partnership with Republic. We have we provide great service. We have great facilities, as you know, and we were a little shocked by it as well.
Thanks. My other question is actually regarding the RNG vehicle here in Santa Ana. So I think during previous presentations or conversations, you've mentioned one, all-electric prototype, but in this presentation, you mentioned that there was going to be 100% RNG with 78 new RNG vehicles. Will all of your fleet in Santa Ana be RNG?
Our fleet will be CNG, driven off fossil fuels still, like you mentioned. And then we will have the electric vehicle for a prototype, right? And those are being worked on now. There's a Peterbilt version and a Mack version, right? And we'll have that in our hands. And we'll be working here with that from an R&D basis to see if we can work out the kinks to that. There is a time amount, right, that the truck is able to function, and then it's running out of the energy, right? Energy source. So there's still a lot of work to do there, but it'll be exciting to have it here in Santa Ana so we can work together to see if we can get that pulled off. It'd be the first of its kind in Southern California, well, in California, period.
Great. And so I know you'll have both a facility in Anaheim and Huntington Beach. You're not looking to expand anything else in Santa Ana, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And so you have capacity to do all the services now with the existing facilities, and it won't affect our city?
Yeah, we do. We have 2 collection yards in Huntington Beach and Anaheim that can accommodate all the fleet. And then we have the post-collection capability between the two, 10,000 tons per day, which we utilize about 60-odd% of that volume now. So we'll have plenty of capacity for that.
Great.
For everything, for all your different materials that we collect.
Thank you. So that's all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I guess the last one's waste management.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Doug Corcoran. I work for Waste Management. With me is Ashley Brunier. We also have Walter Roberts, our Senior District Manager, with us, Daryl Cato, our Director of Operations, Dana Becker, our Financial Analyst. Have I missed anybody back there? Oh, Joel's there. I didn't even see Joel in. Joel Robletto's here too. He's our District Operations Manager in Santa Ana.
Great, thank you. So a few questions. First is regarding the mixed green waste and trash. I know that was happening due to COVID, and there was some discussions with the city. I actually got sent a video from a resident asking about that. There was unfortunately not a lot of communications to our residents, so there was a lot of confusion. So are we still doing, or is Waste Management still doing that, or are we finally back to separating green and trash?
No, it's still all being picked up together right now.
So can you explain why?
Yeah, I'll give you some background on that. So at the beginning of...
Give me 1 second. I think Councilmember Mendoza, is that, you may be, your mic may be on, so if you can turn it on mute until you're called on. We're getting a little bit of noise. Councilmember? Thanks.
I was wondering what that was. Okay. So in 2020, the rules around what you could do with green waste changed. And previous to that, green waste was being used as alternative daily cover. Well, that became prohibited in 2020. So we discussed with the city rate adjustment because the composting process is significantly more expensive than just spreading it out as alternative daily cover. At that time, we came up with a rate, and we had a plan for a two-step rate increase over a couple of years. But the city at the time was reluctant, felt maybe it would be better to wait because you already had an RFP that was on the street that was going to address that. And rather than hit the residents with a price increase and then another price increase, and then again, perhaps a price increase with a new contract, they opted to not separate that green waste for a while. They cleared it with Cal Recycle, as far as I know, with the understanding that the new contract would be taking care of that, and in fact, the new contract does take care of that.
Great, so I just want to confirm that it was on us.
Correct, Councilmember Fan. The item was brought before the City Council. Staff was recommending compliance, but the council opted to bypass on the rate increase.
It was on the last council.
That's true.
Okay, and that's fine. You know, I want to clarify that because there's different perceptions out there in the world. When I went to visit my HOA meeting, the first thing when they found out as a council member is like, oh my gosh, our trash. So it's important, I think, to share that information. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, you know, a lot of these benefits that you're proposing under this proposal, you know, are really great. I really appreciate that. I guess my question really comes with, you know, how long have you had some of these benefits for the city? Because, you know, obviously you've been our trash hauler for almost as long as I've been alive, for about 30 years. And I'm not sure, you know, whether we've seen a ton of these benefits. Is it just because no one on the council asked for it, or is it only because we're going out competitive now that you're proposing these community benefits?
I guess I'd probably need to get an understanding of which benefits. Some of them, for example, neighborhood cleanups, have been a part of the contract for quite a while, and that's a benefit going forward as well. Just general recycling, organic services, that's been a part of the contract, and that will be part of the new contract as well. There are some new benefits regarding outreach and education. I think in your presentation you identified that we were going to add 2 recycling coordinators. It actually supplements our current staff, which is 2, plus 3 to 5 third-party recycling coordinators that are out there on our behalf. At this time, the city is paying their bill. That'll come to Waste Management. We've agreed to accept that. So we've had recycling coordinators. The benefits are expanded. The reason behind that really is SB 1383, which has effectively changed the landscape for our business and requires a lot more in the way of diversion, a lot more in the way of outreach, education, and all of that. So that comes with the new contract.
Okay, thank you. And my other question is actually regarding a subcontractor that you use, Ware Disposal, is local in the city.
Yes.
So do you propose to use them going forward?
We are proposing to use them at this time. Yeah, we are.
Okay, great. So what is your relationship with Ware in the sense that, you know, we do have some residents concerned about some of the facilities. I don't know if it's Ware Disposal that's, you know, using it as a facility, or if it's just a property that they own, but we've had a lot of, you know, residential complaints or community complaints regarding the way that that is being run. Have you addressed this with them, being obviously a major contractor with the city, and we want to make sure we have good relationships?
We have, and you're right, it actually is 2 areas. One is properties that they own that are being leased to other businesses, not the, it has nothing to do with this contract or any of our services. And one is their Madison Materials facility, which is a demolition, construction and demolition processing facility. So we learned about this as time went on, and we got, we began talking with the community and also with folks in the city that there were concerns about that facility and just about Ware's other properties in general. So we essentially began to pressure them and to explain to them that, look, if you can't be in compliance, if you're going to be a problem with the neighbors, we're not going to work with you. That's going to be in the contract going forward, and we are prepared if they're not responsive enough to go ahead and basically cut them loose and handle the C&D processing over at our facility on Construction Circle in Irvine. Now, I know that I've learned, because we've been out with the community, we've walked the neighborhood, we've spoken with people there, we've been talking with code enforcement, we've really been chasing it all the way down to get to the bottom of that, of what the issues are, and they're not new. They've been out there for a while, and there's been a little bit of conflict and all of that. I actually think, in a way, we might be the best opportunity to take care of that stuff, because they've been there, have continued to have some issues, but in just the short time between when we expressed an interest in working with them as a local Santa Ana business with, folks that live here in the city, which we thought was an awesome idea, to be honest with you. But just in the period of time that we've considered working with them to today, they've already begun to reach out themselves. They're willing to work with us. They are also going to have code enforcement come out. They're meeting with them. They're going to get a list, basically inventory of things to clean the place up, clean up the operation, look at the other yards, and basically just become good neighbors. If they're successful, everybody wins. If they're not successful and they hold back, well, then everybody but them wins with waste management, because we'll handle it in another way. So we think we've got that covered pretty well.
Thanks. I really appreciate the detailed response. I'm appreciative that WM is using local Santa Ana business, but I think it's really important that whoever you subcontract with treats the city well and treats residents well and are good neighbors as part of the community benefit that we're demanding here. And so I hope to see that through this process, that behavior or those relationships or conflicts are resolved and improved. And with that, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
I do just want to make a very brief comment about some of the videos generally. Sure. I have to say I do appreciate some of the production value, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it was pretty appalling to see some of the tokenism that was used in the videos. I'm going to say that outright. Y'all, this is not a campaign. You do not need to pander to us. We are interested in looking at the substance of the video and what you are promoting. And so if there is any presentation at the next council meeting or next council meetings, I do expect that, that particular issue is addressed. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I suggest you speak to some of your, employees or residents who can better explain that to you. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Fan. Well said. Let me go ahead and call on Councilmember Mendoza, who I believe is waiting to address some of the proposers. Councilmember Mendoza, are you on?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Mayor Sarmiento. I just want to thank the four companies for their extensive work and for the various videos that they've submitted, and also with the staff. They've done a lot of work as well in bringing this information to us so that we can decide on what's going to be the best for our city. And the question that I have is for Director Saba. I don't have any questions for the four particular companies, as I've already received much information, and with the aforementioned questions answered, I think we have much information that has and cleared up questions that I had. But my number one, before that, I want to say I do appreciate that the companies do, that they include participation and collaboration and doing something for the community, as well as for servicing the trash collection. And so it is a particular interest to me that the 4 companies are engaged and are willing to participate in making the community better by their donations and participating and sponsoring city events. And the question that I have for Director Saba is that in regards to, I know that it's been a practice, not with these particular companies, but with, in general, that the bidding is low, and so what's included in the contract that would protect the city and protect our residents from any price hiking in the future? Supposedly, if a company is chosen, the one who has submitted the lowest bid, et cetera, and then in the future, there's they submit requests for increases in the contract. So how do we protect our citizens and ourselves and the city from such price hiking in the future?
Good evening, Council Member Mendoza. All rates are subject to the Consumer Price Index and the other index. So the prices will increase based on those. In addition to the first 2-3 years, there will be increases due to the clean city initiatives. However, there is no provision really to increase those prices unless an extraordinary circumstance rises during those 10 years. Then it is up to the city really to entertain adjustment of these prices. But as we are in here today, the price or the rates will be adjusted based on those indices that I listed on the slides.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions or comments.
Great, thank you, Councilmember Mendoza. You can be on call in case any other questions come up that you may have. Let me see if anybody else here has any questions. Councilmember Becerra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank all the haulers who came in and made their presentations this evening. I appreciate it. I also want to thank my colleague, Councilmember Fan, for saying what she said, because it's true. I mean, really, if any of you have paid attention to the meetings, I know you have, and the reality is I want to get down to the basics. You guys want to be good partners in the community? Do a good job. That's how you win brownie points with these folks, okay? So let's just cut to it. Tell us what you're going to do. Tell us you're going to do it for a reasonable rate, and I think you'll make a lot of us up here happy, okay? With that being said, I want to really express my appreciation to staff, because I really don't have any questions for the haulers tonight. You guys have did a fantastic job of presenting the information, asking the right questions of the proposers, and bringing everything forward. I do have a question, though, for staff, and that is, under city government operations, you mentioned grant administration, and maybe I missed the description on that, but are we expecting the hauler that we select to seek out grants as far as anything related to their services here in the city, or how does that work?
Yes, we would partner with them on applying for grants, and it's a fee for service. So there is a price that is attached to that service. So as part of the RFP, they have told us what the price will be on an hourly basis when we ask them to help us with grant applications and such.
Okay, and I assume that they'll also partner with our lobbyists then as well, because I know that in the calls that I've had, with our lobbyists on our ad hoc regarding legislation, that's been an issue, is to make sure that our folks are bringing resources back to us, and I would just hate to see us not coordinate. So I'm hoping that that's whoever is selected would be coordinating with our lobbyist.
We'll make sure of that.
Okay, perfect. There was a lot of great things that was said tonight, as far as labor, environment, the happiness of of the workers. I really appreciate that. The one thing, though, that I will say as far as for what Santa Ana's doing and our hauler, the potential hauler that is selected, we'll have to embrace this, and that is the Clean City Initiative. And I think this is something that, we throw the word transformative around a lot. And I think it's important to recognize that Santa Ana's request that we put out there is something that will be transformative. And I think that whoever, as one of my colleagues said, I think all the haulers that have submitted bids are definitely folks that can deliver. I think it's going to be a very tough choice for us here on the dais, but I appreciate the fact that you guys all hung in there knowing that we have such high demands of you because our residents deserve that. So I just want to thank all of you for hanging in there, but at the end of the day, I'm very proud that this council and our staff followed through on the request of our ad hoc to make sure that we go above and beyond serving our residents. It's not just about picking up the trash, it's about making sure that this city is clean and beautiful. So thank you, Nabil, thank you, Christine, and thank you to the ad hoc that did that. Again, I wish I had more questions. Typically I would, but in this particular case, thank you, Nabil. I think all my questions have been answered. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you for those comments. I think everybody has spoken. Councilmember Lopez, do you have any questions at this time? Okay. And I know Mayor Pro Tem, and we may go back for another round if people have some more questions. Let me just go ahead and make a few comments, and a lot of them are for staff as well. But I first wanted to begin by just thanking all of you who are, looking to partner with the city, because I see this more than just a contract, right? I see this as a real relationship. Anytime you do a multi-year contract this extensive, it does, bind us and bond us in ways that you're going to get to know our community, you're going to get to know our residents and our families in a very intimate way, probably as much as any other member of our employee staff. So it is a very sensitive and important role that you'll be playing. For me, I know that a lot of the objective questions that I had were asked and answered. I don't want to grill. I think Councilmember Fan did a nice job of being able to ask specific questions. I do have some specific questions of you, and for full disclosure, I want to make sure that everybody knows I've met with, I think, each and every one of you on a personal in a personal meeting, so I appreciate your time in answering some of my individual questions that I had, and so a lot of those were answered in those meetings. But again, what we want to make sure is that this process, and that's, I think, the goal of this council, is as open and transparent as possible, which is why we're all here. So I do want to begin by saying that all of you can do this work. I mean, I don't see any of you for being unable or not having the capacity to be able to service the city. Something I know that always makes our Public Works Director very nervous is when I say, not only can one of you do it, but a couple of you can do it together, or a few. If we look at models in other cities, they've been able to either bifurcate or do them in teams. I think, to me, Santa Ana is large enough that could happen. I've always wanted us to look at that, and maybe before our last session, we take a look at what that cost would be, because I know the burden falls on our administrative staff and our public works staff to be able to audit, monitor, these contracts going forward. So I know that the labor really falls on them. But maybe there's a way, Director Saba, we can incorporate a cost recovery for that. I think that there are cities much smaller than us that have multiple vendors that do their service hauling. That doesn't mean we're going to do it. I'm just saying let's consider that, because again, for me, as many things that are happening this year, this is a once in a moment, once in a decade, decision that we're going to make, and it's a significant decision. And so I see that this council's been asked to do a few things, and I see this as one element of things that we're doing. So we're also in the process of, appropriating monies that we're getting from the federal government as part of the stimulus bill. So that's about close to $130 million that we will be allocating and addressing needs of the city. We also know that there's a surplus in Sacramento, And those monies are going to be used to hopefully help us address our houseless issue and many other issues that we have with people that are struggling. So we know we're going to have 2 buckets of injections of monies that we will hopefully be using very responsibly to make sure that the quality of life of our residents is improved. But your role, whoever or whomever, and maybe it's 2 of you, maybe it's 1 of you, you're that third piece of that, I think, that tripod, right? Because to me, having a clean city, which I've lived here all my life, my family has been here for 65 years, has always been a challenge. And so the whole idea and the paradigm of being able to go out and do trash collection the way we've been doing has to change, and it has to evolve. So I hope that this is that moment where it does, and hopefully this becomes an example for other communities where picking up bins is a simple exercise. But keeping a city clean and healthy is a complete departure from what we're doing, and that's what we're asking you to do. And you know, we hope that you don't take it the wrong way. We just think that, I won't speak for all of my colleagues, but I'm sure that they'll concur. We believe our residents deserve better. We believe that they deserve premium service, right? Because unfortunately, we've all struggled with that challenge. And, I know the matrix that was included here on slide 31, which shows the revenue for over the 10-year period. We're talking about, $700 million over a 10-year period. It is a gargantuan amount, right? And so I think it's completely fair and warranted that we ask you to do more than just pick up bins. And I hope that you understand that it's coming from a good place, that we expect that our residents that have lived not only this past year in challenging times, but years prior, right, have been challenged as well. So we want to make sure that you understand that. So, let me just, and a lot of my questions are for staff, and I may have 1 or 2 for some of the proposers, but I appreciate what you, Director Saba, and your team has done with respect to the what are we calling it? The Clean City initiatives, right? So these are sort of added or additional values and additional expectations that we see that these haulers will have above and beyond what has been the normal practice. I saw that there is an increment of fees and costs as a result of that, right?
Yes.
Maybe when you come back to us, I see it's in there, but it's not as, maybe we can include it in sort of a table of what that, what that will do to the ultimate fee of that vendor. So when we add that column of, initiatives that we call Clean City initiatives, we're able to see how those adjustments are made. And I know that they're in there, they're just, in my mind, if we can sort of put them together and we see that addition, that would be helpful. So let me ask you, I know that we have, in my opinion, sort of 2 incumbents here. We certainly have appreciated and thank Waste Management for being our vendor for so many years, and we appreciate you working with us. They're certainly the incumbent on this trash hauling contract, but I do think that Athens is also sort of a pseudo incumbent because they do our street sweeping and they've been doing that for 6 or 7 years. Normally incumbency is a benefit, sometimes it's a curse, right? Because you try to maybe say, well, we didn't do this because something else or we were prevented. So I guess I want to make sure that we're trying to be as objective as possible, but the one benefit, I guess, or maybe a detriment of being an incumbent is that my question is to staff. What's your experience been with the 2 incumbents, Waste and Athens, with respect to the work delivery and the work performance?
Thank you, Mayor. As far as the street sweeping, we've been very pleased with the service that Athens has been providing for us in the past 6 or 7 years in terms of street sweeping and their contractual compliance, and same with Waste Management. We have been working with Waste Management with their existing contract, and they have been complying with the elements of the contract that has existed for so many years.
So there haven't been any, service interruptions or real difficult, litigation matters that have evolved as a result of those 2 contracts?
There hasn't.
Okay. So I know and this is to waste, and it's not to pick on you because you're the incumbent, it's just you're the incumbent. So, in the event that you were to lose this contract and it were to go to one of the competitors, would you pursue litigation against the city as a result of that contract being lost?
We would not.
I like short
Doug
answers, too.
Corcoran, Waste Management.
Thank you. I know that that's happened in other communities, and that's happened, hopefully not as common, but we certainly want to make sure we all respect the process, and we know that we're not going to be making a decision and then seeing, litigation come at us as a result. And for Athens, I guess, one of the questions I had was, I know we've spoken a lot about labor, right? And so Santa Ana is a blue-collar city. It's a working, family-friendly city, and we certainly do, try to do our best to make sure that we honor those goals. So, talk to me about whether or not you'd be able to, allow for there to be a labor piece, an ability to have a bargaining unit or unionize here in the city if you were given this waste hauling contract.
Honorable Mayor and Council, I'm really glad you asked that question. I did want to clarify earlier. Athens Services does have a portion of its employees that are in City of LA that are represented by 396. We're working on a CBA. Additionally, I have a letter right here dated April 12th that we wrote to the 396 offering labor peace in Santa Ana. We support our employees' right to vote, and we will continue to do so.
Great. Do your street sweepers, are they unionized?
They're not.
They're not. Not the ones in Santa Ana. Are any of them unionized?
No.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for Republic, just because I want to be an equal opportunity questioner here, again, I only have a couple questions. Have you had any contracts or cities in the past with municipal government that where you haven't had your contract renewed?
We have had a few that went out for RFPs in the last couple of years, about 3 years ago. City of Hawaiian Gardens went out, as well as Norwalk, I believe, is the other one.
Got it. And so when they've gone out to bid on those contracts where you were the incumbent, have you ever lost a contract?
Yeah, we did lose those two. Yeah, we bid on them. We made a competitive bid process, and another hauler was selected.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
No, I think they reach a point where in some cases, not in those cases, but in some cases, cities have just a general feeling that these large contracts need to go to RFPs at specific times, right? Or they just need to get it out to bid to level the playing field or to see if their incumbents' prices are fair, right? So that can be the situation sometimes.
Got it. Thank you for that. Thank you for those. That's all I had. For CR&R, just a quick question on, and the only reason why I know this is because my mother's a resident of the city of Orange, so I know that at one time they were serviced by a different vendor in the city of Orange, and then I believe a few years ago, or some years ago, the contract went to CR&R. Talk to me about that relationship, and talk to me about a rate increase that happens relatively soon after that contract was bid for you, successfully bid.
I can talk a little bit about that. CR&R did take over the contract for the city of Orange and servicing well over 10 years.
Can you raise your voice just a little bit?
Let me move a little bit closer.
Yeah, thanks.
CR&R did take over that contract, have been servicing the city of Orange for over 10 years. There hasn't been anything in terms of additional rate increases. Most recently, there was a renegotiation, but a lot of that had to do with what we're all facing right now is with SB 1383, the expansion of organics programs, introduction of new programs to be able to, what we need to do for compliance with SB 1383. But that's the most recent one I've been aware of, being my history with CR&R.
Great. Thank you for that. That's all I had for you. And so again, I just had some, a couple of specific questions. I think, council, I don't want to repeat what council members have already asked about. So, Director Saba, just, sort of in closing here, can you tell us why it's so important that we make a decision, relatively soon? Because I think we're looking at a tight timeline. And I'll tell you that we've looked at this contract now, not only with this council, but with previous councils, iterations of I think 3 or 4 different makeups of council. And I know that we've struggled to be able to get to this point. We finally have a council that's sort of, put together. It's consistent. Nobody is coming or going, at least for a while. And that's been sort of the problem in the past, is that we've had, people leaving, and then to get everybody up to speed, which is why I think we've been so assertive in making sure everybody is informed, forming an ad hoc, having multiple opportunities to discuss this contract with everybody, because it's a lot to digest. But tell me why it's so important that this timeline be respected.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. As you recall, some of our haulers mentioned, SB 1383 became effective earlier this year. And because it became effective, we were required to do more than just recycling and what we're doing right now. 1383 is a big, I want to say, compliance bill that we need to comply with. We are not in compliance with 1383 right now, and we are under a compliance order through Cal Recycle to comply with all of the regulations that relates to solid waste. However, Cal Recycle was nice to us, knowing that we are going through this RFP process, and they have given us an extension until July 1, 2022, that we would become in compliance with all solid waste regulations. So we do have a close time frame to bring ourselves into compliance, and this contract would do that. If we don't meet compliance by July 1, 2022, we will be out of compliance, and Cal Recycle will be able to fine us and take us to court, whatever it is, but we won't be in compliance. And that's the last thing I want for Santa Ana. So therefore, we really want to keep on track. Like I mentioned, we're hoping that we would come back to you to award the contract on August 17, 2021. This will give the haulers to transition, buy the equipment, the trucks, the bins, the carts, everything else, and get ready to design the routes so they'll be able to service Santa Ana on day 1 of July 1, 2022. If we don't award this contract on the date of August 17, then we won't be able to meet those deadlines, and we would be under a compliance order from Cal Recycle. It's important that we keep on track.
Great. Thank you for that summary. So it just begs the question that this is something that, we've come to this moment that we have to make a decision. And I have full confidence in this council that they have the ability, they've received the information, their deliberative, the deliberative process of having an ad hoc, having a study session, having multiple times to understand the significance of the contract, I think is certainly, something that we've all met. Just in closing, I want to let you know some of the things I really do like that all of you have been, have agreed to do. I really like the porter service, because that's something that we, haven't had. And I think because it's such a large city, because now we are a city council that has 6 council members that represent 6 individual districts, and those districts are different. We call them wards, but there are areas and districts in the town. So to the extent that it is very important to have somebody or some team that's responsible and responsive is important, and to the extent that you all can do that independently or with our support, that's helpful. I really like the idea of the bulky items and how you all have stepped up to take care of those. We realize that, unfortunately, we have a city where, look, it's probably the fourth most densely populated city in the country. And so you have debris as a result of that. I mean, it's just a lot. It's not that our residents are any less clean, and I don't like that sort of stigma that the city has. We just have a very large population. Close to 350,000 people living within 27 and a half square miles. So our families are very clean. It's just, we just generate a lot of debris as a result of many families. And so we have, rights of way that are left unkept, like alleys, like bus stops, different things that we want you to help us with. And I think I received something today, we all received something from one of the neighborhoods that raised money to buy their own trash bins, and they're hoping that you all can help them, change those out, and I think that's fair. So all those things, but for me, I just want you to know, I want to be able to save our residents as much money as they can. Coming out of this pandemic, things are very difficult for people. Families are struggling, and so rates matter. It's not all about rates. It doesn't go to that lowest common denominator because it's multifaceted, multi-elements, but rates are not something that can be ignored. Rates that are affordable, rates that are reasonable for premium service is really the formula if you want to be successful here with us in town. So those are my comments. I'll go ahead and end with that. I'll go back to the council if there's any additional comments that anybody may have. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor Sarmiento. First, I just want to say that I'm just happy that all our cracked sidewalks will be power washed, which is nice to hear in the city. There's lots of them. But with that said, I want to thank Councilmember Sarmiento and Councilmember Pham because they brought up excellent points. I know that during the ad hoc, one of the main asks of myself as well as Councilmember Pham's was that the footprint of whoever is awarded this contract is who's going to have the smallest footprint in the city, because our city, as you know, we're not the city of Irvine that was planned from the ground up. I mean, we very complex and just interesting city in the way that it's laid out, and just the hazard components that exist because of that. We have, and I've said this numerous times, we have crematoriums in the middle of neighborhoods. I mean, that's how our city has had the short end of the stick when it comes to planning, breathing in toxins, and just the environmental injustices that exist. And one thing was, I want to see who's going to have the smallest footprint in the city, because we are dealing with trash. And I know that there were some, there were two in particular. I think I heard Athens as well as Republic Service. And full disclosure as well, I've met with all four of them. All four of them, thank you for your time and thank you for showing me your facilities, those that did. But I don't know who wants to come up first, Athens, maybe, to just get clarity on where these potential possible facilities would be in the city, and what kind of facilities.
Well, after listening to your comments, we would like to have an office for the residents to be able to visit and hold recycling events, but also we've identified a yard in Anaheim that will fit all the trucks. It's about 4 miles away, so it wouldn't be in your city. We did put that proposal if you did want to work on a blighted area or something that you suggested, but we're more than happy to build a yard just right outside the city.
And I do have to say too, it's important for us to have a physical location in the community, especially with our outreach team that we're proposing to provide to the community. So we have our environmental managers that'll provide direct service or coordinate our services that we're proposing under this contract, and they'll be working out of the local Santa Ana office as well.
So thank you for that clarity. And in office with people, I mean, that's always, that's fine. When I'm talking footprint, I'm talking, a potential MRF or trash sorter or of that kind, in the city, which is something that I personally don't want to see, just because I can't think of an area where we could have something like that because of how dense and built out our city is. But I know that some had mentioned increase, having some kind of facility in the city, which I'm happy to hear that it's not. And while you're up, Athens, when we met a week or two ago, I know that you mentioned that a little under 30% of your workforce is union workforce. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, I mean, that would translate to 7 out of 10 are not union workforce.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason behind that? I mean, is there anything that...
It really, it's our employees' right to choose. So we are, like we mentioned before, we are collectively working with the unions in our LA area. And we welcome labor peace here in Santa Ana. And as Cord mentioned, we did reach out to the unions and ask for a labor peace agreement if we do get awarded this contract. So there's no, it's our employees have been treated very well, and I think they have just elected not to unionize at this point. More than happy to, engage if that's the wish of the council.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
that. That's it for now. Thank you. And Republic Service, and if the other, I don't believe the other two mentioned having a facility in the city, and I know that Republic Service did. Are we still considering having some kind of sorting facility in the city or some kind of warehouse in the city?
No, we will not. We'll have our existing Anaheim facility and our existing Huntington Beach facility to be able to handle all the requirements. We will have a
local office. So the beautiful thing about our Anaheim facility, that's a one-stop shop. We're going to take everything there less than 8 miles away. Both Huntington Beach and Anaheim are easily accessible. So when you need efficiencies, emergencies, we're right next to the city, but it's far away enough so it's not an issue for your local residents. It's in an industrial area. It's been there a long time. As you're aware, permitting any new facilities takes 15 plus years. We're ready to go, so it's all inclusive of all your recycling, your green waste, construction and demolition, carpet, mattress, and your recyclables.
Okay.
So no need to add anything within. You can preserve your green spaces, preserve your beautiful neighborhoods. We'll go ahead and process it all for you further away, but efficient with the community.
So no additional footprint of any kind in the city?
Correct. No disposal facilities in the facility, no MRFs, no more trash areas, but we will be present at a local office so residents can come in, businesses can come in and engage with us, interact with us one-on-one, and we'd love to work with you on what would be the prime location for an office that's most convenient for the community. But that's just a customer service office.
Okay.
Yeah, I think another thing to consider too is the travel time, right? So I think it's important for the city to check with all the haulers. I think you're going down the right path. Where are all the trucks going to be located? The travel time, even though they are cleaner burning fuel vehicles, right? They still leave a footprint. They still have traffic, right? There's still safety considerations with haulers traveling long distances. So it's a good question for you to ask. I think.
Yeah, and I believe when I toured your facility, that was one of the questions I also had was, I come from the private sector and very business mindset. So I'm also thinking, how does a business like yourself, how do you make it work with having a facility in Huntington Beach and having one in Orange, and to be able to provide that service for the residents of Santa Ana in an efficient manner? I mean, how do you juggle that? And I believe it was that you were considering looking at properties in Santa Ana, but I wasn't really told what for. Would it just be for staging of trucks?
No, we are not considering that at all. What we would probably do is have one of the lines of business, like the residential collection trucks out of one yard, and maybe the recycling and the commercial trucks out of the other yard. So there'd be a real clean differentiation there. We have no intention of having a facility.
Okay. Thank you for that. Last question, just in regards to your workforce as well. I believe you guys stated that most or all your drivers are part of the Teamsters?
We are.
Okay.
100%.
And Santa Ana residents mostly?
Yeah, we had 77 residents of Santa Ana that work out of our Anaheim facility right now, right?
So there are Santa Ana residents that already work in your facility, but they service, obviously, other cities.
Yeah, other cities.
Okay.
And we have a great rapport with the Teamsters and worked with them for years throughout Orange County and Los Angeles County. And, a classic example of that would be through the pandemic, right? We had to work with our municipal jurisdictions as well as the Teamsters to make sure we could continue to service but keep all the employees safe, right? And we were able to accomplish that without commingling or anything like that.
Okay.
Going on.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that. That is it for now.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
And next, I had one question in regards to CRNR. So if CRNR wants to approach the microphone. And just in general, I wanted to ask what kind of quick turnaround or service do you have for your residents that you already do, like cities of Orange, I believe, and was it Stanton was the other one?
The ones that we service around here?
Yeah.
We service
locally?
all the adjacent cities. We service Tustin, Orange, Newport Beach, and Costa Mesa.
Okay, so in regards to just, let's say I'm a resident with, that, has CRNR, and my cart, street cart breaks, one of the wheels falls off or the lid. I mean, how quickly do you guys fix that?
Well, we swap it out in pre-pandemic, 48 hours. Right now, everybody in this room is having a tough time getting enough drivers, so now it's within 7 days. But by the time we start servicing you guys, it'll be within 48 hours.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that specific question is because, not just to pick on CRNR, I know that I've personally ran into an issue with waste management when it comes to replacing a cart, and I understand it was during the pandemic, so I'm full aware of that a lot of drivers, everyone across the board, the industry was short on drivers because of what was happening. But I did hear today from someone that's not associated to any city-related elected official up here, lobbyist, nothing to do with, I would not even know that we're going through a trash solid waste contract. They live in the city of Orange, and they asked me to go to dinner today, and I was like, I can't, I have this going on. And he's like, CRNR is our trash hauler, and it took me about 6 months to get my cart replaced. The lid was broken, and it took me a while to get it replaced, numerous phone calls. So I, just want to ask, that's why I was asking that question. And it wasn't the last year during the pandemic. So, if that's something that you would say could possibly have occurred, the resident to take 6 months for their...
Man, I find that one impossible. 6 months. I mean, we don't, most of the guys, I'd say probably all the haulers in here, most of us don't repair carts. We swap them out, we take it back to our cart. Yeah, we do an exchange. So to exchange carts is pretty simple. So I would say that was fell through the cracks problem. Right. I can't imagine 6 months.
Yeah, without knowing the nature of what the issue was, but that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
We would want to make sure that the cart, especially what type of exchange it is, if it's a broken lid, broken wheel, where it's not usable, that's a repair that's prioritized.
Okay. Thank you for that. In regards to kind of reference something that Councilmember Fan brought up earlier, to the two deaths that occurred. One was the traffic controller, you said?
Yes,
at the truck yard?
Yes, sir.
And the other was out on the street, correct?
Yes, sir.
I just personally, as a when you're in a position of leadership like yourselves, and you're asked these questions, I don't think it's appropriate to not try to take responsibility regardless of how, who was at fault. I didn't like the response that I saw personally, just of saying, hey, you know what, hate to say it was their fault, because things like this happen, and when you're in a position of leadership, you should take personal responsibility if you're the person in charge, regardless of who was at fault.
I just wanted to give you the legal decision that the investigators made. Yeah, we take responsibility for all of our employees, all of our accidents, all of our customers. That's all our fault. We know that. I just didn't want you to think that it was a fault from a legal standpoint. That's all.
I'd like to add to that as well. We all know, all of us being haulers in this industry, it's a dangerous industry. There's national statistics that show that. And what we do and what we all work on is striving for safety every day in our communities and our employees. We have rules in place, things that need to be observed, and the whole reason is to ensure our employees are going home safe every day. They're critical rules. They're critical rules because we want to make sure that they are safe. So those are things we're always constantly reinforcing. We have zero tolerance for those things if they're not being used. So it's not a matter of an at fault. We just want to make sure that everybody's abiding by rules, that we are safe within our community and also for our employees.
Okay, because if you look at it at a case of a traffic controller, at your truck yard getting run over, and we sit up here and call that, it was, you know, if we have, I believe, what was the vice president?
Yes, sir.
Of the company saying, well, you know, it was employee negligence. You know, I could say, you know, it was company negligence in lack of training or proper training or you know, doubling down on that training as years go on. I mean, there's just going to be constant reinforcement training of what's happening. So just my thought, just food for thought there.
Understood.
And that's it for now.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with waste management, if they're here, I had a thought, lost a train of thought. I had it and it went away. And I want to allude a little bit to what Councilmember Sarmiento said, Mayor Sarmiento, I'm sorry. It's 2 years of this council. So, hypothetically speaking, you know, if Waste Management would to lose that contract, you know, how does that work in regards to the transition period with another hauler? I mean, what are we, what's happening here if we were to go down that route?
So what happens in a transition from one hauler to another just generally, and for us is we'd sit down with the city, the other hauler, we'd go through all of the, like what the routes are, what's out there, what they need to know. Because our objective would be if we're no longer going to be the hauler, we don't want to go out on a bad note. You know, we want to go out on a high note. At least, you know, we can hold our heads high and feel good about that it was passed on to somebody who we've done everything we could to make them successful. Especially in a city like Santa Ana where we've been for so long. You know, we, out of the group here, we're the only ones with something to actually lose, right? And so for us, that loss is not just a contract, that loss is 50 years of relationship. People who work for us grew up here in the city and grew up on the trucks, and management grew up here on the trucks and all that. So it's much more to us, and we would not treat that like, okay, that's it, done, we're gone. I mean, we would work closely with the city, and I think your staff probably knows that too. We've worked closely with them through thick and thin, through everything. We would not want to leave you. We'd want to do everything we could to make sure that the transition was smooth. You know, because like I said, it's relationships. We know these people. You know, we know the customers, and we don't want them to suffer anything unnecessarily. That's what we would do.
Well, thank you for that. And again, we're just talking hypotheticals here, just kind of thinking out loud and throwing questions out. So, that's it for now. Just want to, you know, you guys are the incumbents. So I want to thank you for just the constant community engagement that you guys have been doing that I've seen. You can't deny that. But thank you. And that's it for now. Mr. Mayor, I do have one final question for staff. If I may. I know I've spoken for a while, but Director Saba, also alluding to a question Mayor Sarmiento mentioned earlier, when it comes to the relationships that staff has had with the two incumbents, whether it's Athens as our street sweeping or waste management, I know that, so street sweeping service, for example, and I know that we're not discussing street sweeping service, so I don't want to get into the contract of that, but I know that currently our street sweepers or our industrial parts of the city do not get street swept, only residential, correct? From conversations that I've had with you in the past?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I believe they are swept, but not as often as residential streets. But I'll have to confirm that for you. I know they are swept, but I will get back to you on the frequency of how often industrial and commercial streets are swept. But the residential they are being done on a weekly basis.
Okay.
And they are posted. You know, industrial streets, they're not posted for street sweeping, and some of them are swept at night. But I will get back to you on that.
Did you have a comment, Madam City Manager? I see you all kind of thinking, no? And with staff with any of the 4 potential haulers, how do we, I know that city staff is limited. I know that our resources are limited. How do we hold any one of them, whether it's Athens or CR&R or Waste Management or Republic Service, how do we hold either one of them accountable for any of these things that we're requesting of them? I know that I've heard of instances with the incumbents, I'm not going to specify which one because it's not about that right now, of having a service that they haven't been doing in the last couple of years, but we didn't really know, or that they should have been doing it and it wasn't done. I mean, how do we, I mean, this is a lot that we're requesting of any, like we have all set up here, any 4 of these companies could pick up the trash. There's no doubt about it. I am pretty sure they all can. But when it comes to the Clean City initiatives and just everything from, I just, from personal experience sitting on this dais my short time recently with settlements that we've had with private companies, whether it's our railroads, there are things that they agree to, but then we don't see they maybe get done for a couple months and then they kind of fizzle out, or they're not done as frequently as we thought it was. How do we hold these companies accountable? Is it city staff that's doing that?
I believe that proper staffing, monitoring, and follow-up and communication with any of the haulers will accomplish what you're looking for. Just we need to review or start with a solid agreement like what we have here and start fresh and have the staffing to follow up and monitor the progress and communicate with the hauler and the provider to make sure that services are being done. We need to follow up and just communicate with the haulers and having the right staff.
So when you say proper staffing, is that internally within Public Works?
I believe so. It will be in Public Works that we will have a proper staff to follow up and manage the agreement. It's called project management, and that's what we'll have. In fact, if you look at some of the elements of this contract, we will have funding to actually allow us to staff to monitor these activities out of this contract.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot, and I know that all 4 haulers have agreed to some type of everything we've asked for.
Right.
But it is a lot, and I'm not saying that they can't do it, but I'm just saying, you know, how are we going to hold whoever it is, any one of the 4s, accountable and make sure that all those little bullet points on the 2 pages of that they're being addressed. I mean,
it will be all on us.
That's something that I'm going to sit here and ask and just really emphasize on the importance of, you know, making sure that those things are being carried out, because our residents are paying a premium to live here and just to get the basic services, and this is critical that these things are carried out. One final thing, and I'll be quiet, is just you know, I want to emphasize to all 4 that personally, one of my asks during the ad hoc was just the integration with our city app. Maybe it's because I'm a millennial, but I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like having to call somebody. You shouldn't, in the times that we're in 2021, with how accessible everything is in the palm of your hands, we shouldn't have to sit on the phone for 30 minutes to get a trash can replaced or get a mattress picked up from my sidewalk. You know, I should be able to do it quickly from the palm of my hand and not waste time doing it. I mean, providing that service and making it easy for our residents to ask for that service is going to go a long, long way as we move forward. With that said, Mayor Sarmiento, that is it.
Great, thank you for that. I know Councilmember Fan has another question. Councilmember Lopez, are you good? Yeah. Great, just checking. Councilmember Fan, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for asking the question about enforcement. That is very helpful because that kind of leads into my next question. Director Saba, you had mentioned that, we're on a pretty strict timeline, and I'd understand because there's a lot of lead time necessary. But, let's say we do award the contract on time and, the hauler is gearing up and whatnot, and if they are not on time, what happens then? Are they going to pay the fees? Are we going to pay the fees, the fines?
That's when I turn to John Funk.
Well, then, he almost got away with it tonight.
Thank you for your question, Councilmember Fan. As I believe that has already been observed tonight, the current responsibility for, or in the city, when it elected to bypass the most recent rate adjustment, that meant that that would most likely be on the city, those costs, were we to incur them.
So I guess, let me clarify. We have a deadline, August something or other, and that's what all the haulers understand. You will not get a contract until August something or other, and you have 11 months to gear up. So if after they're awarded and they do not meet the deadline, we're on the hook?
The
if I'm not being clear, you just tell me.
No, my understanding is that the services are to begin on July 1st, 2022. So at the time their obligations are triggered under the contract, and it's those obligations that serve to bring us into compliance and they are not met, then it would most likely be, or our position would be that it would be on them and not the city.
So I would like to, if it's not in the RFP, and I don't know if there's anything in the RFP, but I want to make sure that if they are not meeting the requirements as listed, that, they understand that it's their obligation and it's not on the city or the residents to pay those fines. Is that possible?
We could certainly work with staff to pursue that.
Okay, but I hope the answer is yes.
It would be a yes.
Thank you.
Again, council member, with the four providers that we have, we are confident that any one of them will be able to transition into the service if need to, and provide Santa Ana the service on July 1st, 2022. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here asking you to consider any of the four. So we're confident that we'll be able to provide that service. You can't, unforeseen situations, that's a different issue, but we're confident that any of the four will be able to transition in serving Santa Ana.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, worst case scenario, somebody's delaying, they're trying to get some new RNG trucks and it's not happening, or, there's another steel shortage or something from China, that we are not on the hook for a failure to comply. The other question is actually kind of for all of the haulers. And so I guess I'll start with Republic because you were on my mind. So I wanted to ask you, because actually Texas was just in the news, but you serve in the city, not the city, the state. So you provide services in the state of Texas, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so obviously they had the crazy snowstorm, snowmageddon, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And I guess I really want to know what your response was with that, epic emergency services, and whether it included the areas that, where power was out. Obviously, climate change and effects to our city and these kinds of large natural disasters are likely and possible here. So if you can talk a little bit about that and explain to me how you ensure that you provide adequate services.
Yeah, we have a group of employees that are identified way ahead of time. We have a whole list. We call it our SOS group, right? So it's hundreds of drivers, technicians, container welders, all the people you would need to come into a situation, because we often have hurricanes down right in the southeast, fires, which we've had here in California. I can't speak specifically to what they did in Texas, but that group will be called upon and they'll immediately be mobilized. And everything's all set up already. We have a whole group of people that just sit around and say, what if a hurricane hits? what's day one, what's day two, what's day three, day four. So that's something we do because of our size we're able to do and help out in any kind of disaster.
Have you ever dealt with situations that result, I guess, fire emergencies? You know, we've been lucky not to have a fire situation here in the city, or earthquakes. Any of those examples?
Recently, we had the evacuations up north, right, in the Bay Area, and there still are solid waste needs, you know, because those fires kind of jump around and they'll take different paths. So we do a lot of coordination with the local authorities to see what's available to get in and out of safely, to continue to make sure we can get safely in there and get out of there. But yeah, it's a tricky situation because normally they just want everybody out, including essential worker garbage people. But at some point, when it's weeks and weeks, you got to get back in there and get the garbage out of there at some point. So I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Yeah, no, that did. I am worried about, again, emergency situations because we're obviously an earthquake-prone area, and it's good to know that you've had experience responding to them.
And we could provide the city with, if needed, right, an earthquake plan specifically for the city, and what we could do to be sure that we'd be able to call upon all that army of people to come here and give a hand.
Thanks. And I did also have a question, because if I understand correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you transition hauling services in LA?
We did. There, in that particular city, there is multiple haulers, to the mayor's comments earlier. And it was a significant transition, about 10 times the size of Santa Ana. So it took a lot of effort. I think things we learned during that process was to get out in front of it early with communication to the residents, the businesses, of what to expect and the changes that are coming up, as well as if there's rates, right, that are going to impact them, if rates are going to go up or they're going to go even, or they're going to be, they just need to know, because they don't like, a lot of business people do not like to be surprised if something's happening that they didn't put in their budget. And another component of it is just take your time through that transition, because we kind of had to rush through it. The city, you said, hey, we got to get 75,000 customers converted over in 6 months, and that was a big ask. And because we all were operating everywhere across Los Angeles, so we had to vacate from the areas where we didn't get our zone, and we had to have the other haulers enter those areas. So it was a very difficult transition for everybody. Take your time in a big city like this. You saw the numbers: 130,000 carts, 12,000 containers, 70-some trucks, right? Those are big numbers, and just we'll sit down with city staff as well as anybody, all the stakeholders, and figure out what a really good implementation plan, and make sure it's smooth, take our time, and everyone's informed of what's coming up.
And was that transition on time?
And was that, yeah, that transition was on time, yes.
The beautiful thing about the city of Santa Ana is that you do have that year. So we immediately started talking to our procurement team. Yeah. They're all waiting for us to give them a call right now to see the status of the award, and we let them know it'll happen in July. But with that year, there's a lot of runway. We already have trucks ordered that will be pulled off the line. We get ahead of a lot of our orders. So everything that you need, we'll be able to deliver, create a big purchasing order by October, have things delivered, rolled out with a comprehensive timeline, 6 months later. Work with staff as staff wants us to be accessible, whether it's weekly or monthly. Work with the neighborhood leaders and a lot of your ward representatives and your ward community leaders, really getting ahead and being accessible to everybody that is a stakeholder in this process.
Yeah, that August date, I would agree with you, it would be a tight date, right? Because what Tanya's mentioning is we have all the trucks in the manufacturing line ready to be, the day we get awarded, right, we're going to tell them start making them, right, and they're going to be able to punch them all out. The more you push that back, the more difficult it's going to be to execute on that July 1st date. So, to clarify that comment.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I actually have the same 2 questions for the other haulers, if that's okay. So, 3 haulers. So maybe if one from each team can come up and explain, how you've addressed emergencies. So maybe Athens, and then CR&R, and then waste management. So if you can give a couple examples of specifically earthquakes and fires. That's what I'm most worried about here.
Fortunately, haven't had to deal with any earthquakes, but I can give you the example of COVID recently. Early in the pandemic, we didn't really know what was going on, but we formed an emergency team. We met every morning at 6 a.m. We segregated our drivers. We had multiple yards, multiple vehicles. We prioritized hospitals and critical infrastructure first. We did an alternate routing plan if we did have a lot of people that were going to be out. We didn't miss a single day for any of our customers, but we have teams, we have emergency plans in place, we have multiple yards that we can pull from, and we have additional vehicles. So if one yard's affected, we have multiple others.
Yeah, and like you said, we did not have any disruption to our collection service. We continued service uninterrupted, as well as our bulky pickup during this time. And we saw a huge increase in residential waste while everyone had the stay-at-home orders. So we were successful in maintaining continuity of service in all of our cities.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about, my second question was about a city that you've transitioned anytime recently in the last 5 years?
Yeah, I can speak to Norwalk. And Norwalk was actually, we have a white paper out, but we transitioned that city in 78 days. And you can speak to them. I believe they're one of the references that they called. They're exceptionally happy with our service. We pre-routed the city. We rolled out the cans on time. We didn't miss a beat. We put almost double the supervisors in a city to start to make sure we handle everything. And they're a very happy customer right now.
And I think too, what was successful for us was our outreach and education program. So we have a large team of recycling coordinators throughout the company, but we mobilize them for any transition that we have. So we do extensive outreach and education. We meet with local community groups. We have a huge mailing effort to make sure that our customers are subscribing to the correct level of service. And that's something that we would do here in Santa Ana as well. We would mobilize all of our recycling coordinators during the transition, but after the transition has occurred, we do have 9 outreach team members that will be in the city. That's a combination of our environmental managers and our recycling coordinators. Anytime a transition occurs, it is crucial that communication with the customer and with the city and with the hauler happens on a regular basis.
Great. And actually, so are all of your cities here in Southern California?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think next is CR&R. So if you can answer the disaster preparedness and an example of what you've done.
Yes. Okay. So we haven't had an earthquake, thank goodness, lately. But we were involved in all the major fires in Riverside County the last 3 years. So we had to deliver roll-off boxes and storage containers. One of our other divisions is haul-away storage that we referenced in our RFI. So we have the most storage containers in Southern California. So those are very useful to have on site, and we've proposed that to the city to already place those at various facilities throughout the city already.
We have numerous containers in our infrastructure, so we're able to mobilize, deliver those that they're needed for supplies, storage of supplies, whatever it may be, in the areas where there's impacted by a disaster. We have that support that we can do for the city.
And then we also have a total of 10 facilities in Orange County, whether it's a truck yard, a welding facility, fabrication. I believe we have the most facilities in the county.
But not Santa Ana, right?
No, not
Okay.
Santa Ana, except for my house. That's a facility.
It's in Floral Park. It probably is the size of one.
Good one. I think I can put 2 trucks there.
The other question was transition. If you can give an example of a city you recently transitioned and that experience and the timeliness.
Okay, I'll give you the overview and Chris will give you the details. But you saw in the video, we've done 17 transitions. Every single one of those is still a client of ours. The most recent ones in Orange County, I made a list while I was sitting there. Newport was from the city itself. We took that over. Tustin, Lake Forest, Orange, Rancho Santa Margarita, La Habra. Then one kind of a random one, kind of interesting, was Avalon, because we had to barge everything over and everything off. So that was an exciting transition. But Crystal can give you more details on Orange.
And the technology on the trucks used
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
service. And just to add all that also is the trucks on Catalina also on Avalon run on propane gas. So there's a whole transition experience and actually providing new technology and services for that area as well, something new. Orange was one we collaborated with the city. This was prior to my time being on board, but that was a transition that happened within 2 weeks. So we collaborated, outreach education. I can speak about one of the most recent ones was City of Lake Forest that I worked with. There was a lot of education outreach we did ahead. We worked with our sustainability team members. We had dedicated sustainability members. I personally was out in the community as well, meetings with the chamber, business communities, informing them what was going to change in terms of their services, outreach to associations, some of the larger associations, apartment communities, explaining what's transitioning. Some of the new requirements at the time were AB 341 and mandatory recycling, explaining those programs. There's a lot of things we did even before day one to provide information on pricing, what we could do to help with rates, what we could do to implement programs. So a lot of those things are addressed from the get-go. So we're ready, we collaborate in terms of timeline, communication. We had weekly updates with staff that would go to council on weekly updates about where we're at in terms of the transition process, what's occurring, any questions, anything coming back through feedback, and coordinated and collaborated on all the education pieces. So all of that, we worked together and had ongoing meetings with staff and also outreach to the community. It's been some of our successful strategies in terms of working through a transition. And we recognize each community is unique. There's going to be certain associations, different aspects of the community, so we look at tailoring the program to fit what that community is to structure our strategy in terms of transition.
Great, and what's your largest city?
Largest city that we have?
Well, the largest
For
city,
transition or for?
Just that you have.
the largest two cities is Orange and Temecula.
Temecula, yeah.
Got it,
And
okay.
both of those were transitions, both of
Okay.
them.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Waste, you're up. So first, yeah, if you can address the disaster preparedness and response.
Yes, thank you, council member. Likewise, we've had a lot of fires recently in Orange County over the last couple years. We've seen an increase. Silverado fires and the Canyon fires specifically. So we've worked very closely with county staff in those events. We've basically had daily meetings with county staff as well as in-person meetings. Our route supervisors and operations staff meet with the fire deputies and fire chiefs in the areas to see which areas were impacted, which areas were not accessible, basically doing daily out dials to communicate to customers if their area was inaccessible due to safety reasons. We work closely with our dispatch, and we have a communication method where we either email, text, or call the customer, depending on their preferences, to keep them notified and informed. And as well, we provided roll-off boxes and the dumpster needs as well to increase, to take over that debris that was left over from fires and mudslides. And then I believe you have additional.
Thanks. Thanks, Ashley.
Oh, are you going to continue with the disaster response? Okay, great.
Yes, Doug Corcoran. So in addition to the activities that Ashley just described, one of the things that we do immediately is we reach out to Cal Recycle and also the counties to get emergency waivers for facilities. Because one of the things that happens whenever you have a big natural disaster is there's a ton of material that needs to get moved quickly. And it potentially overwhelms the system that exists for transfer and landfills and recycling and everything. So we immediately get in touch with the state, get waivers to increase the daily caps on those things temporarily so that we can get the cleanup done as quickly as possible. It's critical that you work with the authorities. So that's number one. And as Ashley said, over in the Silverado fires, we worked very closely with them. We also recently were integral to the recovery from the Woolsey fires up in the LA and Ventura County areas. We also have a team, nationwide team, of very experienced and very proficient drivers across a variety of lines of business. We call them the Green Team. They're standing by at the ready. They have their regular jobs, but whenever we have an emergency around the country, they will come in at whatever numbers we need them to supplement the team that's on the ground there. That team has come into LA to help with recovery from the Woolsey fires, has gone up north to help with the recovery for those fires, down in New Orleans for hurricanes, Florida for hurricanes. They're very proficient, very knowledgeable about all of those activities. I was actually, I don't know, maybe there's a few of us in the room that were on the job during the Northridge earthquake, and I was actually working up there in the Northridge area at that time. And again, we just pulled from resources. That is probably the best thing we have when it comes to responding to natural disasters. We have a vast network of facilities. We have a vast network of operating facilities and hauling yards around the area, and then we have that nationwide support group that we can pull from. So we're ready. I think we do a good job with that.
That's really great to hear. The other question, obviously, it's not a transition here. I'm not interested in that, clearly. However, do you have any examples in which you have, a city has gone out to bid and you have re-won the contract and what that experience was like?
We do. We recently, we actually have transition experience too, but in Manhattan Beach, we just recently started a new contract there, dealing with adding SB 1383, adding some other features that the city in particular wanted to see. And so we work closely with that city. We actually, although we're the incumbent, we would treat this change as a transition, because effectively it's a transition. It doesn't matter who the hauler is. There's a big transition. We don't have to learn the streets. We don't have to learn the neighborhoods or the particular needs of specific customers, other than just on a regular basis that we do that. But we already have that knowledge. But the services are different, and the education is different. And so that's how we would treat it. We're not taking anything for granted. We go right in this as a full transition. In terms of Manhattan Beach, we took over the billing. They had done the billing for years and years and years. Completely transformed the service downtown in their beach area, which had been a certain way for many, many years. And as far as I know, I get good reports from there all the time. Very close to staff, very close to the business community, and we're in constant contact with residential communities out there.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Council Member. So, seeing and hearing no other questions or comments from the council, I want to just thank all of the principals and that represented the proposers today. Thank you for coming in. You're actually lucky because we've been on this trend that we've been going till midnight and beyond. So consider this early, and we're letting you off the hook. But thank you for spending your evening with us and sharing and fielding questions and sharing information on questions that we had. Thank you, staff, for preparing us to be able to ask some informed questions. I think seeing nothing else, we will bid you all a good night, and this council meeting will be adjourned until Tuesday, July 6, 2021. Good night.